Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the VIS Professional League here as we kick off the winter season for 3v3. Joining me tonight, it is actually Sean Astito and Denominate. I gotta change that, Sean. 1 second. As we look to kick off our day number 2 here at VIS Pro, and it's going to be an exciting day. Denominate, this matchup we're going to be starting with tonight is probably one of the most hype ones, not because it's going to be close. We don't expect it to be. It's just because we're going to get to see the world champions on 2.11.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, Tribe, they were able to come in kind of a Cinderella story. They were a team that didn't qualify throughout the actual individual championships to get to Worlds. They came through on a wild card, and they just ran a storm all the way to the top with very convincing wins. And I'm so proud of these guys, having known them all for quite some time. And big congratulations out to them. So, you know, for anybody in this tournament, that's going to be pretty much the toughest matchup you could imagine going against.
No, absolutely, and as we get everything, there we go, get all those rosters sorted out. Some quick updates there with Tribe is Mewtwo in a 2-2, that is T-Tigers, Lane Petal, that is Max Green. Some fun name changes. I think T-Tigers got his name back, by the way, but Max Green did not. We were told he's actually working to get that updated, just so everybody knows. But we're looking to get it. We're going up against Lude City, or Ludicity, I think is how it's pronounced. It's not Ludicy, which I incorrectly thought the first time I saw that, but Ludicity. And this is a 16-seeded team, Denominate. So by all analysis, we can see it looks like Tribe should be able to have an easy time. But, you know, these are Vainglory silver players on Ludicity. And so there is the potential, if you don't bring your A game, you could come in here and get shocked with a little bit of an upset.
Yeah, you definitely could. I don't expect to see that happen. You know, again, this is a team that has been together for a little while now. Obviously, when they were under the Immortals name, it took them a little bit to shuffle things around and took them some time before they really found that comfort point for them. But coming into the Summer Unified Championships, we really saw some great gameplay coming out of Tribe. They ended up going all the way up to end up losing to Cloud9 in the finals, but then, like we were just talking about, went on to win the World Championship. So I think you go ahead and take that. If you lose the Summer Finals but win the World Championship, I think you're doing all right.
Absolutely here. So let's we head back. I got the desk fixed, Sean, so it does say your name now, not mine. Sorry about that. As we look to get into game number 1 here for this first draft. And you know, we talked a lot about 2.11 yesterday, Denominate. You were here. I don't know, Sean, if you got the watch, but one of the things that's the big story is Ringo, 100% pick ban in the first 3 games, actually in all of the games, 100%. In fact, he was picked and went through the draft the first 3 games. It was that final game that we got to see Varia for the first time because B-Side went on to ban
Weapon Varia.
Yeah, went on to ban Ringo. I don't know if it was a good call because that Weapon Varia was probably about as potent as we were able to see any Ringo throughout the night.
Yeah, definitely exciting. I'd really be intrigued to see if we do get a Varia through the draft tonight.
I'd be surprised too.
She's in a really good
that's
place.
Too interesting. I wanna chime in before we get to the draft.
Go for it.
I want to hear what was the weapon build. I didn't get to watch last night. What was the weapon build on this Varia?
If I remember correctly, it was a Sorrow Blade, Breaking Point, double Tornado Trigger Dragonborn.
Right. It was that first big weapon damage item, and then Breaking Point was second pretty quickly. After that, it was just all attack speed and with that crit as well. So it was pretty much a monster. If you didn't kill Varia, it was actually going up against the Sky, and if Sky got on top of Varia, was able to maybe handle it very quickly, but if Varia got out of that forward barrage, was able to delete everybody and anybody in her path. So a completely different thing.
The wall jumps
were incredible.
Super interesting too. So the way it ended up working out, Sean, you know, it's a weapon power carry, very reliant on those basic attacks, but
right.
There was some pretty crazy wall jumps to, you know, come through and sneak that last attack onto a low health target. And those are the kind of plays that we can see set up out of Varia's. And I'd love to see Varia make it through the draft, and I'd love you to get to cast because she's super exciting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, seeing her do the arc recursions, and I myself have played a lot of her, And it's just, the arc recursions, you could do so many amazing plays with it, especially when you throw the Stormforge Spear afterwards with pretty much half of the channeling. It's just an amazing thing. She's a great playmaking hero.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's pretty crazy.
All right, well, we're just about ready for draft here in a little bit to nominate, but of course, as is the tradition, we'd like to talk a little bit about, you know, the player to watch. So, Dave, I'm going to kick it over to you. Who's going to be the player to watch here tonight going into this first matchup?
I always say captains don't get enough love, so I do want to give this one over to Max Green. And, you know, he's a player that came onto this tribe roster and really went from, you know, just your average Vainglory 8 captain to just this absurd monster that just plays so well in so many different scenarios on so many different characters. And I think he does a great job setting up plays for, obviously, Dienzio and T-Tigers, two of the best players in the world, and they were able to prove it. And it all comes down to what Max Green is able to help them set up.
Absolutely. You see, Lane Pedal, that is Max Green. That's a name change on live server. So that's all his stats here for that player as far as rank is concerned. And again, you know, he has been a huge factor in all of their wins, and he's really been that rising star that's been the cohesion of that team when they were Immortals, and then when they became Tribe Gaming. Again, that consistency that he brought there, he was that steady support, but he was also a huge playmaker, and a lot of it was just not making mistakes. He just playing and giving his team the best chance to win. So a huge factor here. All right, we're about ready to get into the draft. I'm going to check with the teams here for just a second to nominate, and of course, once I do, I'll let you guys know. We'll get right into it.
So, Sean, guess while we got a little bit of downtime here, is there anything in 211? Obviously, this is going to be the first major NA tournament, at least, that's going to be on the 211 server. Is there anything that you have particularly seen that you think we'll see tonight that you're excited to see?
The draft begins.
You know, Denominate, I'm excited about seeing Varia, of course. We already mentioned it. She's a great playmaking hero. She's very flexible as well. You can have her be that backline poking mage who has a little bit of that mobility with her arc recursion, which allows her to get out or get into fights and really get up a lot of energy that she's expended during the fights as well. But also, we had huge buffs to major items in 2.11. We had Serpent's Mask, like a big buff where it's going to be used on a lot of heroes now. Blackfeather is, of course, still going to be using it. Vox,
possibly this glaive that we have locked in?
Yeah, possibly glaive that we have locked in. Sorry, I'm actually not in the client. So I need a...
We have a Varia ban on A, Churnwalker on the B side, Glaive A side pick, Arden B-side pick, and now a Grace ban for the second ban of B-side, and a Scarf for A.
I'll get you in there, Sean. I totally forgot to give you that note. So
the new client,
the new client, yeah, I got you here though. So until I get you in, I'll
Sean. We'll get you in here. I'll go through things. There's that Ringo that had the 100% pick ban, and a Saw almost instantly answers back. You'd think this was Zelsiar coming in, but definitely something Dienzio can play very well. Indeed. So I'm happy to see this. With the Glaive, though, I'm interested to see if Max Green picks this one up in the captain position, or if maybe we get a Crystal Saw in the lane.
Yeah, we saw that Saw into the Ringo. Actually, I think it was that last or second to last game yesterday, and it did not do well. But again, a lot of that was due to the fact that you had so much mobility on the side of the team with Ringo. They had a Fortress and a Grace, and there was no crowd control whatsoever on the opposing team. So Saw was just a sitting duck. Here you've got this Glaive. I like that. We talked about that. And a Blackfeather. Both of these heroes, we could be seeing another one of those double or triple Atlas compositions just trying to take down that attack speed on Ringo.
Yeah, and I do think this is probably going to end up being a weapon Saw in the lane. Max Green is going to pick up this Captain Glaive, and T-Tigers in the jungle going to be on this Blackfeather, which will very likely go into the Crystal Blackfeather with the Aftershock route. And I think with the Glaive and the Blackfeather paired together, it should be very easy to get to Ringo and make it very uncomfortable for him, with those Atlas Pauldrons and the quick gap closers, as well as the repositioning that Glaive offers.
Absolutely. As we wait for this last pickup here, Ludacy has a decent amount of time, actually, think about this, they do need to pair the Ringo with something of a front line. I mean, I think Arden's a good pick as a support because he can provide the zoning. With the Gauntlet, with the Vanguard, he can keep Ringo, I think, pretty safe. Now I think you want to just pair that up with something in a front line with Glaive, Blackfeather. Maybe you go with something like a Baptiste or something like even a, I don't want to say Rhyme. We did see Rhyme yesterday. It didn't play out very well, but maybe an Alpha. 2.11 has changed some of those. Wow, but instead we will see that Petal likely in the jungle for Ludicy.
Yeah, definitely going to be looking for that jungle Petal. I don't expect to see any jungle Ringos against a Blackfeather and Glaive. That would be pretty nightmarish, but Petal can handle pretty decently into both of those picks. So excited to see this one. I do want to give a little bit of an edge to Tribe, just because, again, we talked yesterday about how effective getting that Atlas Pauldron onto a Ringo is, and Glaive and Blackfeather so very easy at doing so, as well as Glaive. The Afterburn reposition can throw that Ringo right into the hands of this spun up Saw and make short work of a self bar.
Oh, absolutely. So we'll be getting into the game number 1 here in just a second, as we do wait for the teams to come back from the draft client, and we'll be able to jump into this first matchup. When we take a look at this, the Petal pick is, I think, kind of the biggest mystery for me here, Denominate, because I don't see it offering protection for Ringo. It's somewhat squishy. It could be a distraction, but it's not nearly as slippery as Ataka. So how do you see this working here, this draft? Because the front line really is just Arden, and now they're kind of going to have to play, like, they're going to just have to be aggressive on I guess their strategy here is just to get on top of the Saw, but it's a little risky because you have that Glaive and Blackfeather.
I think the real thing that they need to do is not really care about the Saw. So long as this is a weapon Saw, they can hopefully try to bait Max Screen and T-Tigers just a little bit out of the range. Uh-oh. What is this? Is this a jungle Saw coming out of Tiggs here? Oh, this is going to be fun. Dragon, I'm excited about this one.
All right. Well, don't give away everything just yet. We're going to be getting into the match here in just a second. But yeah, as we look at that, it's a little interesting. I'm really surprised by that scarf ban, actually. And, you know, that was something that maybe Tribe knows something that we don't know, or maybe they're just a throwaway ban, because we haven't really seen a lot of scarf at all played here 2.11 so far. But we're into the game, so I'm going to kick it over to my casters, of course, Denominate and Sean Ostino.
Yeah, that is us. We are here with the beautiful, beautiful Sean Ostino. And Sean, we've got Tribe World Champions going to be going up against Ludicity here. And this appears to be a jungle Crystal Saw, and I'm super excited. We've seen this a while back. Von C pulled it out against the Petal in the jungle. The suppressing fire makes short work of those Munions. It's kind of a nice little flexible setup that they put together for him here. And how do you see this game really going out? We have the Captain Glaive obviously going to be really tanky in your face, and this Crystal Dankshank Saw going to come through with those huge execute.
Yeah, they're going to be huge executes to nominate, especially when he comes online with that Shatter Glass. He's just going to be able to melt those Munions. And once you take out the Munions, looks like we have a little bit of an engage here, but they may not follow through with it. Too Sweaty, once he gets his Munions annihilated, the damage output for that Petal is going to go way down through the basement. So T-Tiger is going to be able, really nicely done too. I like the flexibility in the draft because Saw was picked second for Tribe. Him being picked up second, they think, oh, okay, it's going to be, you know, it's going to be a weapon power Saw. We're going to probably see a CP jungle, Blackfeather, but that's not the case. It's a really great surprise.
Yeah, definitely threw me for a little bit of a loop. We don't often see the Saw in the jungle. Definitely something I expect T-Tigers to have the ability to pull out, though, and potentially do some crazy things with. But at the same time, he's a little bit susceptible. He's not going to get super fed like Saws typically do, and now he's in a rough spot, taking a lot of damage. Here comes Max Screen for clarity purposes. There's the Dankshank, not going to be enough, and now Max Screen, you might not make it out. He's going to go ahead and use that flask and get out of there alive. And now D'Enzo rotating down. I think that's going to just force Ludicity back. But D'Enzo might have seen Knight rotating to the back. I think he did. They might be looking for a kill here. and they should be able to get it. This should ideally be first blood.
Oh, this is such a difficult situation.
Oh, there comes the Vanguard Knight. Have you made the great escape? You have. This little Ringo, after being stunned in the suppressing fire, is able to make it out alive. Those healing flasks, such a wonderful item. Not quite spammable like the healing potions used to be, but that big burst and the barrier that it gives you is just absolutely insane.
Yeah, the barrier is very helpful, and also the patience too. The patience of Knight staying in that bush, and he even avoided the on point, so it didn't give Dienzio that extra bit of damage onto him. And also the map awareness and the vulnerability awareness of your allies coming out of Akora's, just going up there and vanguarding him at just the right time to get him out of dodge. He was just so low too. It looked like he was probably down to about 20% of his health. But looks like they're going to be taking that treant, and that's the second treant that they've actually taken in this matchup. Ludicity looking pretty good right now, Denominate.
Well, they've taken the treants. They're a couple farm behind as far as looking at the actual gold. We're at 7.6 to 7.3. So even though they've got those extra minions in the lane, Dienzio has a pretty sizable advantage here. Sitting up 30 to 23, and now they're looking for a kill here onto Knight. He does not have that flask. One more hit will do, and Dienzio is going to find first blood, get a little bit of bonus gold in his pocket, but more importantly, he's going to be able to force this wave up underneath the turret and deny more CS away from Knight.
Yeah, pretty smart moves from Dienzio, and what else can we expect from this world-class Vainglory champion laner here? But Knight, yeah, just when I said earlier Ludicity was doing well, they're doing well for a 16 seed right now coming into the VIS versus this world championship team. But anyway, things are looking like Knight may be building up towards that Sorrow Blade first. He may go for a Spell Sword, though. He does have that Chronograph there in his inventory as well. And we know that in 2.11, we do have a buff for Ringo. He's actually at 6.2 range now, which gives him a bit of an advantage over a lot of heroes. I think the next hero under that is 6.1, and we have Zarya at 6.1 as well. But
yeah, with her basic attacks, right?
Yep, exactly. So anyway, yeah, it's too sweaty, building up towards that Shatterglass to increase the tankiness of his minions. And once he gets that, it's going to be a pretty good power spike for him. But,
I don't know if you can be too sweaty against Tribe, though. Like, you need to sweat, like, super hard. I mean, this is the world champions. I mean, too sweaty, though. Now level 6. He has the spontaneous combustion, but looking over, we have Mad Cannon on T-Tigers. Dienzio getting ready to get that Rose offensive. Knight very close behind. He's sitting just a little bit shy of that Hellfire Brew. Appears to be going into that Spell Sword for his first item. And that's really the route that we've seen on most of these Ringos as of late. The extra cooldown and energy allows the Ringo to sit in the lane a bit longer and keep his energy up so he can keep using that Twirling Silver. As we've got a couple minion candies popped here in the lane.
Yeah, Knight is he's sure he's going to be going for that Spell Sword. It did get a buff too. It looks like we have a really big wave coming in. It's going to be really difficult for Ludicity to go ahead and push this off, and we could potentially see Dienzio and the rest of his team rotating down into the jungle, steal away another treant.
Yeah, definitely could. Knight's got to be careful, though. You know, obviously, the lower health you are, the more worried you have to be about that Dank Shank there. The barrier saves him, though. They find one kill onto Max Green. Hellfire Brew going to come out onto T-Tigers, but a Flask going to keep him at full health. And then, that again just goes to show the power of that item throughout this early and mid-game. But now, Ludicity, they're going to go ahead and rotate down. Looks like they might get a couple CS of their own. And it's not the best answer back. They're not evening the gold up. But it's definitely signs of life. They've evened up the kills, and they've also defended their turret as well, so that gives them a little bit more time to try to get things going, as T-Tigers now Dragon's Eye first on the Crystal Saw.
Yeah, he's got that Dragon's Eye, which is an interesting choice. You usually see the Shatterglass picked up first, but we do have a buff for Dragon's Eye in update 2.11, so that allows it to lose the stacks less quickly. It also gains... It also gains more weapon power CP power per stack. However, It's still, I still feel like Saw has to stay in battle a lot longer to make it really effective, and that means he could be a sitting duck, and it's a dangerous situation. In that last team fight, actually, Ludicity showed a lot of patience, and I think that's the name of the game for them right now. It's patience. Even when we have these Mexican standoffs here over at this tier 1 turret, a lot of pushing coming out of Tribe. Ludicity is just standing their ground. They're not backing off. They're not rotating down. They're just waiting for Lane Pedal to dive in and make a mistake, and that's
there's a Hellfire Brew, but the mad cannon coming out of T-Tigers, and Ringo being just a little bit locked up there because of that ability, takes a couple of those shots to the face. That's another kill going to the side of Tribe. Doesn't look like they're quite going to get that turret, but the gauntlet is used. They found some damage onto 2 Sweaty. T-Tigers, he has that roadie run available. Can he find the kill? He is going to get it off the back of a great afterburn coming out of Max Green. They're not looking to get the turret, and it actually might be Max Green paying with it, with his life. But now Dienzio, he's looking to turn things around, getting some damage down on Knight. It's not quite enough. T-Tiger's a little too hurt to help. There's the Dank Shank coming out of him, not quite enough. And thanks to the just attack speed and energy management this Ringo has, he's able to finish off a kill onto Dienzio, even things up. But a suppressing fire over the wall, followed by a roadie run. T-Tigers, the animal, is going to go ahead and pick up 2 kills to answer back. The Jungle Saw has spoken.
T-Tigers, the terrible T-Tigers, 4-0-0 right now. So much patience, just going down, rotating away. He was so low on health, being chased down by Knight, but Knight switched targets, and he got Dienzio with that kill. He was really hungry for it, but leaving T-Tigers alone severely punished Akoras and Knight. They were just annihilated, and that beautiful suppressing fire over the wall and the Dank Shank afterwards, that is the kind of playmaking world-class jungler I love to see in T-Tigers.
Oh, absolutely, Sean. The plays, again, Max Green, really the key player here, set up that first initial push onto the turret. That beautiful afterburn. T-Tigers wasn't going to be in range of that, getting that Dank Shank onto 2 Sweaty, but the afterburn coming through helped that one out. But now T-Tigers, he might be looking for a world of hurt, but the Hellfire Brews onto the wrong target. That could have been looking for a kill there out of the side of Ludicity instead. They've got Dienzio low. They've got T-Tigers low. They might actually be able to take this first turret. It looks like they're going to. The raw damage coming out of this Ringo onto objectives is absolutely insane, going the critical route. And they've, really kept in this game pretty well. They're finding some damage on the Max Green here, but they do need to be careful underneath this Crystal Sentry. Saw is back. He's at full health. And we already have seen what T-Tigers is able to do on this hero.
Yes, we have seen what he's been able to accomplish in the jungle there with those amazing plays. Knight is doing really well himself. He's got 3 and 3 right now. 2 Sweaty, in a little bit of trouble, but he's going to be helped out with that Vanguard. Kiting away, just going to go ahead and farm up. But we do also see a Tyrant's Monocle on Knight, so he's going to have some really good crit damage coming out. And we already know with the heroic perk that Ringo has, Double Down, he's able to get crit damage as well. So this is just going to be a lot of crit coming out of Knight as long as he stays alive in these team fights.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like the side of Tribe, they're coming back up, looking for another attempt on this turret. They should easily be able to get it this time, and might be able to look for a little bit safer of a fight. The damage that T-Tiger is going to do throughout the rest of this game is only going to get greater and greater. He has the Broken Myth complete now, and, while the Dragon's Eye to me at first didn't make a whole lot of sense, I've definitely seen him be able to scale that ability up a couple times, so I like what he's done here. And I'm interested to see how the rest of his build ends up going. I'm sure there's going to be some Halcyon charges at some point just for that additional cooldown. And this Saw is just going to get scarier and scarier.
He does have that energy battery in his inventory, Denominate, so he could be going for an Eve of Harvest, and that would allow him to sustain even better in these team fights. Really smart move right here. Oh, they're jumping in.
Yeah, Dienzio is onto 2 Sweaty, but takes a lot of damage. The Fountain has already been forced out. Now we've got another Fountain out on the side of Ludicity. Dienzio is going to come through. He finds 1 kill onto 2 Sweaty. Tigers looking to get some damage down on the Knight. There's the healing flask. He's going to survive. Hellfire Brew coming out, but here comes the Dank Shank. Will it be enough? It is not, but Max Green comes through, finds another kill. Dienzio now onto Akuras. If he can find the ace, there it is. And now this is going to be Tribe probably looking to take down the gold mine or go to this turret. We do have 2 Sweaty up. There's no minions here, but here come that ace wave, and it looks like they want this turret. They want that permanent objective down. It's going to be another big boost of gold to them. They're sitting up about 3,000 right now, and that's only going to start getting more and more.
You know, when we have a number 1 seed going up against a number 16 seed Denominator, we do get to see a lot of confident plays and a lot of fun plays at the same time. We're seeing just so many cool positioning, unique and diverse builds right now coming out of Tribe, and it's the confidence that they're exuding here, being the world champions. And they don't have to do, well, they do unique builds all the time. They do great plays, and it's going up against Ludicity. It's a really tall task for Ludicity to take down Tribe, and I feel like they're really going to have to keep Knight alive because he is the primary damage dealer. He's gotten all the kills for Ludicity right now. Knight needs to stay alive. We need to have Akuras and 2 Sweaty really protect for him and do a lot of peeling, but it's so difficult when we see Max Green coming in with these afterburns and repositioning everybody and finishing kills as well.
Yeah, definitely, and that's really what we saw Ringo succeed in yesterday during the games. Was he was able to come through and be that hyper carry in most of the situations. Just the raw amount of damage that can come out of this hero is insane. They might be able to find a kill on the T-Tigers here. Does look like he's going to make it out alive. Dienzio, he's now on to Knight. Can they find the kill? They did have him Atlas. That's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Petal's going to take down T-Tigers with Dienzio. He's going to go ahead and find the Ringo. He might be looking for 2 Sweaty now as well. Now, Akuras, he's on the run, but it's pretty hard to run away from a Glaive and a Black Feather. That big execute damage coming out of Dienzio. Faint of Heart with 20 breaking point stacks, 937 damage. Now, T-Tigers starting up the gold mine. Dienzio going to go ahead and rotate down to help as well and just allow these Ace Wave minions to force their way up to the turret. That's going to cause Knight to have to defend, as obviously minions have had a pretty sizable buff onto their objective damage as well. So you cannot let those ace minions sit on your turret for very long.
No, you can't. So they're not going to be able to contest this gold miner at all, Denominate. And Dienzio, yeah, that 900 damage coming out of him is just astounding. Perfectly taken that gold mine before the Kraken comes out, actually. And we're also seeing a lot of damage coming out of T-Tigers when he's ramping up these Dragon Eye stacks. He gets in there with those Dank Shanks, and he's able to do 800 plus damage. And it's just so insane.
Yeah, it definitely is. I think one of the interesting things that Tribe have set up here is both the Black Feather and the Saw have that execute attack in the Faint of Heart, as well as in the Dank Shank and the Roadie Run, and as well as even in the Mad Cannon. Those abilities all scale off of missing health of the enemy. So no matter really who goes in and gets the initial burst of damage, there's always going to be that chance that you can have either one of those targets come through and try to get that big execute. Obviously, it's a little more dependent on stacks for Dienzio, as well as for both the Breaking Point and the Faint of Heart. But T-Tigers comes through on a half-health target with the Roadie Run. It's almost certainly going to be a kill.
Yeah, it actually, in a way, does depend on stacks a little bit for that Dragon's Eye that T-Tigers does have on him. But this is such an interesting composition because we have them pretty much diving in from Tribe, and we do have T-Tigers wanting to stay on the back line, though, but he wants to dive in as well with those Dank Shanks. Those Roadie Runs can just do so much damage. And then we have a Protect the Carry composition here.
Here comes the Gauntlet, though. It's going to be 2 Sweaty getting absolutely destroyed as he jumps a little too far. It's not long before they find Knight. T-Tigers, he's very low, but they can find the ace here and they can pick up that additional health. Oh no, T-Tigers going to get rooted underneath that sentry. Dank Shanks away. Do find the ace. They're going to be able to pick up a little bit of jungle here as well, but more importantly, we're 17 minutes into this game, Shaughnessy. That Kraken is ready to go, and with the death timers that are sitting on Ludicity, this should be an easy one for the side of Tribe.
Yeah, this should be a really easy crack and take right here. We have the death timers pretty high. They're whittling down right now, but they still have to run over here, and that's going to be taking them some time. The NA Treant doing a little bit of work there to slow up Tribe, but it's not enough. They're sitting at 14-4 right now with their kills, 17 minutes in, and a 5,000 gold lead. Kraken is on the leash for Tribe, going to be shortly marching down the lane. And look at it's practically full build for D'Enzio right now. He's got 3 tier 3 weapon power damage items, including that Serpent's Mask. He's got the Breaking Point, Sorrow Blade as well. He's just doing so much work here. And look at T Tigers. He's got himself that Clockwork cooldown reduction right there for his abilities. That's the best thing that you can have on a CP Saw. And it looks like they're approaching this choke point turret. Ludicity has got their work cut out for them.
Yeah, they definitely do. This half-health Kraken now heading towards their base and Tribe pushing on in. They've been able to win just about every fight, but now the gauntlet is down. Can they find anything out of this separation? T-Tigers trying to keep those attacks going so he can build the Dragon's Eye stacks. He's at 5 already. This could possibly be the end here. They've got the Vayne turret down. They're now on to the Crystal. Can they finish this one off? They almost have done it. D'Enzio is able to survive on through. That's going to be Tribe ending out the game 14-4. Pretty sizable lead, but I do want to say Ludicity, they held on for quite a while, looking fairly decent. You know, despite the 14-4 scoreline, as far as their rotations go and the way they were going about team fights, everything seemed pretty kosher all the way around. But again, this is the world champion team that they are up against, and we, just expect the flawless plays coming out of Tribe here. And just for clarity, for anybody watching that maybe missed it earlier, Lane Pedal is max screen, so throughout the remainder of the stream, I will very likely continue to say max screen. And that is who it is. So this is the full Tribe roster. It's not a Smurf. It was actually a name change. It's not a sub. So just want to make sure that's clarity. I've seen it come up a couple times in the chat already. So
yeah, this protect the carry composition coming out of Ludicity did not bode well for them. Sure, they were able to get 3 kills from Knight, but he wasn't able to stay alive long enough. But they did go 18 minutes with the world champion Tribe team, and T Tigers and D'Enzio both had 1 death each. It's a beautiful thing to see the jungle and lane are both getting the same amount of kills. Really well done out of Tribe. And what else can you expect from them?
Well, as the world champions, I don't know if I ever know what to expect for them. I don't know where the ceiling really is, but, to help us get into the draft for the next game, we're going to head over with Dragonborn, see what he has to say about that last game.
Oh, thanks to Nominate. Yeah, that was an interesting matchup. As you guys probably picked up on, I mean, it started off kind of slow. Again, you would expect a Crystal Saw in the jungle to struggle a little bit. Ludicy actually did a pretty good job in the early mid game. I don't know if you guys saw it, just like it felt like there was a little bit of a struggle there to get some of the kills. I'd actually say that, just because of how talented mechanically Tribe is over Ludicity, that's why they really won this game. Draft wise, that Ringo and the Pedal really were doing a pretty good job. We were talking about before, I just don't know if the Pedal was the best pick. You really need a better frontline for that Ringo, and I think that really was the problem, is how squishy Pedal was. He wasn't able to deal with the Saw as well, wasn't maybe like an assassin, and he really saw that kind of just dropped down. If the gauntlet wasn't perfect, it just didn't end up working out.
Yeah, definitely didn't. And, again, we do expect a 16 seed to struggle against the number 1 seed. So there is that. And we'll just have to see what they do. Maybe they can get themselves on I don't even want to say maybe they can get themselves on a more comfortable draft, because their draft was actually pretty decent.
Pretty good.
But I think the way Tribe ended up going about the way they played their composition, right from the beginning, we, thought, okay, this is going to be D'Enzio on Saw on the lane. It's something we've seen him play before with a lot of success. T-Tigers, obviously, great Crystal Blackfeather in the jungle. Glaive, that very flexible hero that can be played really anywhere. I think we knew that was going to max screen, but then they were able to switch things up quite a bit. Obviously we had D'Enzio on the Blackfeather and T-Tigers in the jungle on the Crystal Saw. And again, they just were able to do so much. It was really exciting to watch.
All right, so we are going to be getting ready for game number 2 here in just a few seconds as we look to get into the draft. But as you guys just witnessed, Tribe easily dealing with their opponent here in first game. So definitely not a surprise, but I think what is a surprise maybe is really how well Ludicity played those first 5 or 6 minutes. And then really, if they take advantage of maybe a bad draft from Tribe again, or if they take advantage of a misplay there, they could potentially create an upset. But I really think maybe Tribe was just dusting off some rust there. Coming in here, that's our first matchup. Now looking to maybe remind everybody why they're the world champions, which we oftentimes will see. So, all right, the draft's about ready to start. Let's jump right in. I don't know if you have the draft up, Sean, this time. If you want to maybe chime in here for this one.
I do have the draft up, and it looks like I'm in. We see the ban for Blackfeather there. Yeah, they definitely. We don't want to have Tribe getting Blackfeather on the Dienzio again. Varia gets banned as well. Of course, she's a really strong hero, and we have a Churnwalker actually picked up by Ludicity. It looks like too. A strong captain right now, and we have other captains who have actually gotten a lot of nerfs recently. Churnwalker's been unchanged, so we do have him in a pretty strong position right now. Baptiste picked up actually by Tribe.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested to see what they end up doing with that Baptiste pickup. Obviously, we now have the Vox ban coming through, but Baptiste individually, we've seen him played a couple different ways. We saw at the World Tournament. Obviously, there was a weapon Baptiste that ended up getting ran. We know the Crystal Jungle Baptiste and what a huge threat that he can be. But we've also seen the Captain Baptiste. So there's definitely a lot of flexibility in this pick. The Ringo ban did come off the table. I think that's definitely smart out of Ludicity because, you know, Vox, Ringo, those are 2 heroes that Dienzio really made a name for himself on, as well as this Scarf. But it's going to be another Saw pickup here. So after seeing the way T-Tigers played that Saw in the first game, I'm definitely going to throw this out there as a very flexible pick for the side of Tribe. We don't know if this is going to go in the lane or the jungle. Heck, we might even see a Saw port. It is max screen. You never know.
Yeah, that would be great to see that. Max Green making the plays, you know, best captain, NA. But there is a lot of flexibility here because Dienzio, he's great on Saw as well. He can play really good weapon power Saw. And then we just saw what T-Tigers did in the jungle there with a Dragon's Eye, of all things. You know, it's just taking full advantage of the buffs that these items have on these heroes that have been around for so long. We're down to 30 seconds of bonus time here for Ludicity. So I'm wondering what they're going to be going with because they're taking a lot of time here. And if I was them, I would be taking a lot of time too. Celeste picked up, and very, very quickly, a Cruel picked up as well. Cruel is really good right now in the jungle, especially with the buffs to Serpent's Mask. That's going to allow him to sustain really well.
Yeah, and I do really like this composition they have set up if it's into a weapon Saw. If T-Tigers gets it in the jungle, he can struggle very early against the Krull, but it's not quite as susceptible in team fights as the weapon Saw. Obviously, the Celeste, once she hits level 8, gets the Heliogenesis overdriven, she gets that additional range. It's very easy to zone Saw out of his comfort zone because once he gets those spin-up stacks, he's very, very slow. And he either sits there and takes a beating. You know, there's obviously high potential for a core collapse just due to the fact that Saw is not quick enough to move out of it, that he may have to sacrifice those stacks with the Roadie run to keep his safety.
Yeah, the core collapse coming in on him, just making sure that he's stunned up, followed by a Heliogenesis. Supernova can do tons of damage and virtually eliminate a Saw off the fold. And especially if this is a lane matchup, and it looks like it will be a lane matchup now because we have Grumpjaw picked up, most likely going to be going in the jungle. This could be a double. Gosh, there's so much flexibility here, though. We could see the Grumpjaw going captain as well. And I guess we're just going to have to see when we get in the game, Denominate.
Yeah, I'm not going to throw myself under the bus and guess. I'm not playing Colorcaster today, so I'll leave that one up to you. But definitely going to be fun. Obviously, Tribe now up 1-0 Ludicity. They have a pretty good draft set up. We're going to have to see if they're able to pull it off. Cool. That's all I'm going to say about this. Cool. I'll let you explain what's going on.
That Grumpjaw could go lane too. It's not unheard of, but you're right. What Tribe is drafting here is just mostly what I could call confusion. Mechanically, these guys, I think, feel confident in their performance to win. So I don't think they're showing maybe any of their hands at this point. You'd have to imagine that they're not showing too much because of just like the sheer uniqueness of these compositions. But this is 2.11. We don't have a lot of information on this update as casters to necessarily assess. All right, what are these players finding that really works in rank? What are they finding that works in scrims? A lot of these teams scrim actually quite regularly. So, you know, if they're scrimming a lot, if they're finding certain cool things that work, maybe they want to show them off. But I think Tribe here, I actually talked to Max Green, and I've talked to a lot of these players. They really want to win this VISPRO championship. They know that this likely could be one of the last serious 3v3 tournaments here in quite some time. So they really want to make sure they end the 3v3 careers on a high note. They're getting ready for 5v5. But this is
they just won Worlds. They've had it on a high note.
No, it's honestly, Max told me, he's like, yo, we're here to win this. We want to win everything we can. We want to be considered the best, not just the best one time, not just, they want to be.
That's a good fair point. Touche.
Yeah, so we'll see as we get ready for this matchup. Of course, again, this is just the round of 16. These are the early games. We're streaming every single game for you guys because we want to bring you guys everything. We want everybody to see 2.11 as closely as possible, even though, updates are, of course, always right around the board, but 5v5 is not here yet. So until then, guys, this is the top of the top. And with that, guys, we're jumping into game number 2. I'm going to kick it over to my casters, Denamine and Sean Ostino.
All right, Sean, we've got a little bit of a toss-up here. Again, we have Baptiste in the lane. He has the Book of Eulogies and Saw. Once again, with that crystal bit, I have to expect T-Tigers in the jungle going to be going the crystal saw route. Does that mean we are going to see the weapon Baptiste in the lane? And how does it fare against a combination, of a Kroll, of a Celeste, of a Churnwalker that have massive amounts of crowd control?
This is a very interesting matchup. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like this.
This rotation's neat too.
Yeah, in my whole caster career, it's great to see. Oh, look at this. Yeah, Lane Petal is going up there. Max Green, rather, is going up there. Just providing a little bit of a distraction. And that's something that we have seen, not necessarily out of a Captain Grumpjaw, but out of T-Tigers in general as a captain. We go out, let's say if it's a Grace, for example, going out there, scouting out the enemy, providing a bit of a distraction for them to perhaps be able to take out that center treant. And it was a really well played positioning move right there coming out of Max Green. But yeah, Dienzio on this this weapon power. I haven't seen a weapon power Baptiste actually played. Perhaps you could fill me in a little bit on how you would play as him.
To me, it's kind of got its viability as well as it's kind of a gimmicky pick. I feel like there's certain scenarios that it just does work really well in. Once it's very similar to a Crystal Baptiste. It's all about managing your heroic perk and keeping the soul fragments in your reap available as much as possible. And obviously, we know Baptiste, even when he's in the captain position, no crystal power, those bad mojos in the early game, if you're managing those soul shards, can be very good at aggressing. We see him focusing down Knight, but I think he stuck his neck out a little bit too far here, Dienzio. You're going to pay for that one with your life. First Blood going over to Too Sweaty. And now Lane Petal, Max Green up here. Going to try to get a little bit of more of a distraction than anything, trying to keep Kroll away from T-Tigers down here on this Saw. As we see, Tigers is actually going to miss out on his CS there. Dankshank wasn't able to land in time. It looked like the smite came out of Too Sweaty. He's able to pick that one up. And the Saw really will struggle against the Kroll here early on.
We do have an interesting story here for Tribe in general, actually, because we did see them come out of the VIS Challenger Series as Immortals, get picked up to become Tribe, and win the World Championship just passed. And then now we have them coming back into VIS Pro, though. So they're going to be able to not only come out of the Challenger League, but to be able to come back to VIS and just say, hey, you know what? We're the best, and we could choose these wonky compositions and get Dienzio on a weapon power Batiste and still win. But I feel like I don't want to say that he's getting a little bit arrogant here, but he might be, because we did have him die once already. So such an early death too for Dienzio. But
either it's kind of the risk of running a melee hero that doesn't have an escape, though. You know, he was doing a great job pressuring Knight, but unfortunately, because Batiste's range is so low and he doesn't have a movement ability, you know, for example, if we look at Glaive when he plays in the lane, he has the Afterburn. Jewel has the Rocket Leap. I mean, even Vox has Sonic Zoom. It's a little bit of a distance created by using that ability. That's something Batiste doesn't have. Yes, he can use the Ordain to try to help create distance, but you know, you're also locking yourself up for a second against a lot of crowd control to do so. But a little bit of a tussle down here in the jungle. T-Tigers has taken a bit of damage, but so has Too Sweaty and Akura. But it looks like Tribe, they're not ready to give up yet. There's a suppressing fire down onto Akura, gonna bring him down. He's forced to use the flask so that he can remain healthy. And, you know, getting back to the viability of the weapon Batiste, we started touching on it, and then obviously Dienzio got killed, so we had to cut ourselves a little bit short. He does gain a weapon power boost when he does manage his fragments properly, so it can be very, very burst heavy for that limited duration, as well as obviously then if you go the route of breaking point route, you can scale up through the remainder of the fight as well. Serpent's Mask, we've talked about the buffs on that. And when paired with the fact that Batiste has that natural healing already, he can be very sustaining as well.
Actually, yeah, I'm taking back what I said about Dienzio, because he's actually 10 farm ahead of Knight right now in the lane, despite him being killed. And look at this.
Yeah, we've got a kill now going on to Knight. Fearsome Shade is out. Force Too Sweaty and Akura's a little bit into an uncomfortable spot. Now they kind of got to split up here, and this should be one dead Churnwalker. Definitely not getting away from that Ordain. And, you know, Dienzio, again, the amount of damage that he's able to do, that 35% weapon power damage that he does additionally because of his perk. Once we get into the later portion of the game, I do expect him to go into some critical damage. And, you know, those critical hits, when paired up with that bonus 35% weapon damage, that's going to be crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. And not only that, but we're actually seeing him do pretty good damage with his bad mojos as well. Not to mention the slows that come out of the bad mojos once he hits his target. So hitting them with the slows allows him to give a little bit of a gap close. And then if he wants to get out of trouble, he can actually pop those tier 1 boots that he has. And that's pretty much making up for his lack of gap closing / escape in his kit. But he does have the Serpent's Mask. We do see T-Tigers going for that Dragon's Eye again. And Max Green has got himself a fountain. So he's sitting at level 5 here. He doesn't quite have that really good power spike of getting that stuffed that we know Grumpjaw to have. Once Max Green has that stuff, he's going to be able to reposition a lot of heroes on Ludicity to be able to just take them out even more. Good crowd control.
Too Sweaty coming in. He's got some damage onto T-Tigers, but it looks like T-Tigers is going to make it out all right. And this is the time where Dienzio, you know, has to be cautious. His big spike of damage during this phase of the game is only when he has that Reap ready to go. So right now, it's still pretty risky. Too Sweaty, though. Oh, gone out a little bit too far. There's all that crowd control that can come out of a Batiste no matter what position he's in. Solar Storm not quite going to land, but Heliogenesis coming down onto T-Tigers is going to even things up 3-3. And now Dienzio a little bit low on energy here. Has to be cautious as Knight is approaching level 8. He's going to get that additional range here shortly. And now, oh, a good stuff coming out of Max Green, though. This should be a kill on tonight. There was that Ordain saved. It's going to be another kill now going over to the side of Tribe.
Oh my goodness, that power spike right there. Having Max Green hit that stuff and save it for a pivotal moment where Knight was just so close to their turret, just out of range, putting him right underneath it. Really well played by them. And not only that, but they chain the crowd control as well. And Dienzio's going in for more.
Yeah, he definitely is. Can they find the turret? They will. And now Dienzio, he is barely going to make it out alive. And actually, T-Tigers, with the Dank Shank coming through, finds a kill. Now, it is going to be Dienzio killed by the Krill. Again, evening things up 5-5. Gold dead even. But Tribe, they take that first turret advantage. And that can be incredibly helpful. It'll help the rotations that Tribe are able to make. They can force that wave up and then kind of maintain control of the jungle anytime they see fit.
You know, it's interesting. The whole game, Denominate, we've been talking about how Ludicity has a lot of crowd control and how we see a lot. We actually also see a lot of crowd control on Tribe's side too. It's just that we had to wait for that power spike that Max Green just hit with that stuff. He's able to take advantage of it now. We see the Ordains coming out, the slows from both Dienzio and T-Tigers with their abilities built into their kits. So if you're able to slow down Knight, who's obviously the primary damage dealer here on the side of Ludicity, and take him out of the equation, they could easily deal with either Akora or Too Sweaty and just get aces once it hits mid to late game.
Yeah, absolutely. Knight is at a strong point in the game, but man, that damage coming out of T-Tigers was just a little too much. A brilliant stun coming out of Akura, though, as Knight was obviously stunned up by the stuffed, and it's going to drop him in the safe zone. T-Tigers was killed, but now Dienzio, he's looking to try to find one kill. Good block there, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Oh no, the Torment might have just killed Knight. He's going to make it out with the sliver. Now, that might actually be Ludicity finding their opportunity to even up the turrets here and extend. They've got a very slight gold lead right now. A beautiful From Hell's Heart there, going to stun up Max Green as he tried to come through with the oh man, I'm drawing a blank. It's been so long. Grumpy. I was like, is it Grumpy or Hangry? I don't remember. Grumpy.
I can't remember either. But yeah, it's
the 3 stages of hunger. It's grumpy, hangry, and stuff.
The 3 stages. I love it, Denominate.
It took me a second.
Things are getting turned around here for Ludicity, actually. The gold has swung in their favor. They're actually about 600 gold up compared to Tribe. And there are 2 kills in the lead as well. Of course, the game does not go by kills. The game is by objectives, and we each have 1 turret down apiece for both Ludicity and Tribe. But we have some really good power spikes actually hit by T-Tigers. He's gotten that Dragon's Eye already. We've been talking about that. He has the Broken Myth as well. So he's likely going to be working on a clockwork like we saw him the other game. And he actually just picked up a Crystal Infusion. He's keeping that in his pocket. We have potentially other infusions. We have actually infusions other on Dienzio and Max Green as well. So they could be looking for a fight here.
Definitely a possibility. Things are pretty even in this game, and again, I do think Ludicity have a good composition set together here, as well as I think Tribe are playing just something a little bit wacky just to have some fun with it. And I think that's giving Ludicity a slight edge here. That's keeping them in the game pretty strong. There's the Trespass, but it does get blocked. A good Crucible coming out of Max Green there. Here comes Too Sweaty trying to find his way out of T-Tigers, but Dienzio looking to find his way onto Knight. Can he do it? Look at the damage coming out of this Batiste. Too Sweaty is able to find a kill. Knight, he's doing a good job kiting, but it's just not enough. Going to be Dienzio now running for his life. He can't win this 2v2 trade against a Krull and a Churnwalker, who are both full health. There's the Ordain. Good block coming out of Too Sweaty, though. Will he make it out? The smite, just not enough. I think Dienzio, he's made it out alive, as well as Max Green. So it's, again, just another very even fight. Gold's still very even as well. Now, here comes T-Tigers. They might be able to find a kill here. The Ordain is down. Too Sweaty, he's still around. He's found some damage onto Dienzio. Will it be enough? There comes the Trespass. That one was not blocked up, but it's going to be a kill going onto that Churnwalker. Too Sweaty. I don't know if he's going to make it out of here alive either. There's another Mad Cannon coming out of T-Tigers, finishing that one off. 8-8, evening the gold back up, at least close. And now with only Knight alive, it's an interesting opportunity for the side of Tribe. They could start up this gold mine here. They know they've got a couple seconds to go. The wave is pushed up. They can't really go for a turret. But instead, it looks like they're going to play things safe and just go ahead and start the farm up.
Dienzio rotating back away from that chase by Akora and Too Sweaty was actually really smart. Him getting just behind the Crystal Sentry, getting his heal camp, able to regen just that little bit was actually such a smart move, and it showed a lot of patience by him. Look at the damage that is coming out of Dienzio. We don't have, despite Akora's being tanky, we don't have any armor on him, and we actually saw him taken down by only just a few smacks of that Reaper Blade from Dienzio. Doing that took him out of the fight, and he was able to freely just throw out bad mojos and ordain up Too Sweaty to prevent him from leaving. Really well done by Dienzio and the rest of Tribe there, as well as Max Green making the plays, using his ability, again, I forget which one it is, Grumpy or Angry, whichever one it is that slows down the enemies, but doing that, it was able to catch up to Too Sweaty and finish him off there in the jungle shop. Bush, really well done by them.
Yeah, and one, like I was talking about earlier, is Dienzio's ability to manage his Reap, and the breaking point obviously stacks based off of the weapon damage that you do. So when he does have that heroic perk procced, he does stack that breaking point up just a little bit faster. It's not massively game changing, but it does indeed work. I'm actually surprised he hasn't gone with a little bit more damage, maybe into the crit route, but he has been taking quite a bit of damage as well, so he's had to focus a lot on defense. I expect the next time he uses his healing flask, he'll sell that out and probably pick up a little bit of critical damage. But now, as Too Sweaty is getting into the later portion of the game, as well as Knight, it is going to become very, very difficult for them to deal with this composition. Now, 15 minutes in, Kraken is alive. Dienzio stacking up on Akura here, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Knight, he's able to, should be able to zone out the Batiste at least, but he's getting too close. He actually walked back into melee range there. I think that's a little bit of his own fault as the Fearsome Shade comes through, locks him against the wall, and now Dienzio, with all these breaking point stacks, sitting at 20 stacks, going to go ahead, take down the Churnwalker as well. Too Sweaty, he was able to find the kill on the T-Tigers, but, the Krull by himself, not really going to be able to do a whole lot. He's not able to clear out the wave very quickly. He's not realistically going to be able to solo the Kraken as much as we like to think a Krull would be able to do so. Tribe, they're going to make those rotations. Max Green, he has the flares ready to go. He'd spot something like that out, and it would become a risky call very quickly.
Nom Noms, in the last team fight, it was 2v1 on both sides of the map. Too Sweaty was surviving on the opposite side. Dienzio was surviving on the opposite side. And I feel like we've had Dienzio, T-Tigers, and Max Green play this composition before and have been practicing with it. We actually saw them get into the same position in that left side mustache bush there and throw the Fearsome Shade. The first time it didn't succeed, and that's where he backed off, and he was able to heal up in that previous team fight. But this time, him going 2v1 was actually a better situation, and he feared both of them into the walls. The Fearsome Shade came in really handy then, and Knight was the first to fall. Really good target prioritization and patience by Dienzio. If they could just keep playing like this, we're going to be seeing Tribe take this game and win the series.
Yeah, I definitely think Dienzio's play was very smart. Specifically, the way it's started off. It was that 2v1 scenario, but he capitalized on that key opportunity. Knight came in a little bit too far, got into melee range after Dienzio already had stacks building up onto Akura. So I think Knight really kind of shot himself in the foot there. But, that's really the plays that we expect out of a world championship team, is capitalizing on any mistake you can. Now this fight's breaking out. Too Sweaty this time has gone directly onto Dienzio, which has allowed T-Tigers to return quite a bit of damage as well from Hell's Heart. It is going to go ahead and land. All of Tribe are very, very hurt. Can they find what they need? Dienzio's on to Knight. He does have breaking point stacks building up, but I don't think it's enough. That's going to be an ace going over to Ludicity, and it's a clean ace at that. So they're going to go ahead and take down this Kraken and start pushing into the base of Tribe.
Wow, I feel like Dienzio going in over and over again is probably, it could be a good thing, but it probably wasn't the best thing in that scenario because they got aced and they just went so low. this Kraken is going to be on the leash for Ludicity. And we're sitting at 4 turrets apiece here for both Ludicity and Tribe. And that the Ace Buff minions actually finished off that second tier turret there for Tribe. So we're down to 3, and Kraken's coming up into the lane.
Yeah, coming up into the lane, and we know what a threat a Kraken can be when a Celeste with her massive range is helping push through these objectives. It's going to take some good plays out of Tribe here. Again, I think this composition, there's definitely viability in the Weapon Baptiste. I don't know if this is really the composition that it's the most viable in. Now we see Knight going to go ahead and try to poke out some damage onto the side of Tribe, as well as trying to get that turret down. That big AoE burst that the Supernovas provide, definitely helpful for them, but Kraken about 60% health here. They might be able to find another turret, but it could be risky as well if they overstay.
What's actually is interesting, Knight's going really low there, Denominate.
Yeah, he definitely is. Dienzio's on the chase. That's going to be 1. Too Sweaty, though. He's once again onto T-Tigers, and in that 1v1, there's just nothing that a Saw is going to be able to do. So now, Tribe, they have to turn around. This Kraken is still in the base. Too Sweaty is going to be able to take down this turret. I don't think Ludicity win the game off this push by any means, but it definitely could be possible. This Kraken very, very low. All Too Sweaty has to do right now is survive. 1 Spectral Smite might give him the time that he needs. There it is. Can they finish this one off? I think they might have actually done it. Too Sweaty with beautiful plays there at the end. Ludicity, they've done it. 13-13. Thanks to some crazy plays coming out of the Krull there at the end. They closed that game out. What a intense game. And again, I do think this composition with the Weapon Baptiste is a little bit questionable. So, Tribe, you had your fun. I think it's time to go ahead and win this one if you really want to go all the way.
Wow. The Weapon Baptiste fails Dienzio here and Tribe. They got some good kills in there, man. I like the journey boots there on Dienzio as well, because he was able to really either egress from the fights or get aggressive and get into the fights. But I feel like mid to late game, him continuously aggressing into the fights over and over again got him in trouble, and he got caught out a few times. I like the plays that were coming out of him, but look at the hidden gem on Ludicity. Too Sweaty with 9 kills and 3 deaths, and he was actually the one to look out for there when everybody was focusing Knight. Really well played by Ludicity.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, I believe we're going into our first game 3 so far out of Vis. So we're going to head over to Dragonborn. Maybe he can confirm that with us. But Ludicity, man, they did it. They pulled together at the end. They were able to bring down Tribe.
Yes, they were. Wow, what a crazy game. Again, we talked about the draft being a big factor of that. And, when we get to this level, VISPRO, guys, yes, it's a 16 seed, but we made sure we tried to get the best teams in here. And all of these players are Vainglory Silver and above. Almost all of them, And so what that means is the competition is very tight. First seed Tribe going against Ludicity, they have to take these seriously. They can't just give them over a better draft composition, but more importantly, they got to play together. If you guys watch that game, you'll see that a lot of times Dienzio was going the exact opposite direction of T-Tigers. They actually tried to split up Ludicity, but instead what that did was it split up Tribe. And, Krull, he likes 1v1 matchups, right? He's the kind of hero that he wants a 1v1, so you don't want to give that to him. They gave that to him a lot, and that's where we saw Too Sweaty honestly win those matchups. So, kind of a tough time. Tribe's going to have to come back in here, see if they can change it around. We're going to take a quick break, everybody, but when we come back, we'll be getting into game number 3. So don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back after this.
Ben, Sam, and Ken are on separate journeys to defeat the menacing Vile Dragon. But let's just say luck isn't on their side. If only there was a way for them to find each other and band together. Well, that's why there's Band. It's a mobile app that allows people to come together using common interests. With Band, you can find fellow gamers, chat, schedule gaming sessions, and conduct polls. Stage epic battles with friends while sharing videos and photos along the way. So try Band today. Band. Be together.
Welcome back, everybody. We are here, and we're getting ready for game number 3. We're actually going to jump into the draft here in just a few moments. As we do, though, we want to talk quickly, Denamine and Sean, as you guys break this game down. What do you kind of want to see? I'll start with you, Day. Out of Tribe and then out of Ludicity, just if they want to win this series. It's tied. Either team can take it. It all comes down to this game.
I think Tribe go for a little bit more of a realistic composition this time around. And, I can't stress it enough that there's a time and a place that flexing a Weapon Baptiste can work. Intentionally picking it into a Celeste Kroll and Churnwalker, maybe not the best time to do so. So I definitely think, as you mentioned earlier, you were talking to Max Green, and they definitely want to finish 3v3 off with the victory and anything they can get. I think they're going to probably pull out something a little bit more meta and just really force some aggression early on, like we know them to be able to do so well.
We do see a Grace actually picked up here. So that's seems a little bit more meta because Grace is really strong here in 2.11. She got some buffs to her, which is going to make her pretty good pick for Max Green. And it looks like we see some time being taken by Ludicity, but they have a Churnwalker band. We do see a Varia band as well over from Tribe. They really just don't want to play up against that. Vox is picked up. Vox is good too. Pretty much untouched, maybe a little bit of a buff. And we see that Koshka is actually off the board, and they don't want to fight against that Cruel on the other side.
Yeah, absolutely not. And, Vox kind of falls in that same scenario with a lot of weapon heroes that got buffs through his kit, but definitely some items that are very useful to him got some changes. That Spell Sword, definitely something that we could viably see. 110 weapon power now. So just a little bit shy of the Sorrow Blade. Also gives him the additional cooldowns on his abilities, but it's going to be a Dienzio, Ringo, and T-Tiger's going with the Crystal Jungle Saw again. But Dienzio, Ringo, definitely one of the heroes that he has been known for quite some time, dating all the way back to it would have been summer of 15, and when he won the live championship for North America, I believe. May need to have somebody fact check me on exactly which tournament it was, but definitely something in the realm of what he can play. Definitely something incredibly strong in the meta right now. I remember just a couple minutes ago, Sean, you were telling us about how he destroyed you on Ringo incredibly painfully. So we'll have to see the range advantage between Ringo over Vox. Definitely something that can allow Dienzio to keep the aggression up very early on.
Throw me under the bus. Why don't you Denamine?
Absolutely.
No, but you know what? He even destroyed me when we were playing 5v5 Alpha with the 6.1 range Ringo. This is a 6.2 range Ringo, so he's got even longer range now. He's going to be able to just dish out the damage. Spell Sword is going to be a very big factor here, and we do see a Black Feather finally picked up for the side of Ludicity. So it's likely going to be a crystal-powered Black Feather in the jungle, and we'll be seeing Vox up there in lane. So it looks like a little bit more meta compositions here out of both teams. T-Tigers sticking to that saw.
Yeah, he's done pretty well on it thus far, but last game, obviously with the curl in his face, it was very, very difficult for him to succeed. He is indeed going to go ahead and pick that one up. Back screen, a very, very successful Grace as well. So I definitely expect to see things taken quite a bit more seriously out of Tribe this time around. However, if they let this Vox and Blackfeather get into the late game, they can be a huge threat to both of these carries. It's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun game, it looks like. Grace actually got some buffs recently with her Benediction and Holy Nova. We see a lot of damage reduction, actually, for this Grace that Max Green is going to be playing. So it's going to be a good time here, and I'm going to expect to see him come online once he gets his divine intervention online. But looks like the teams are starting as usual, heading into the jungle, and we just like we would expect, Max Green poking out a little bit, scouting out the enemy, making sure where they are. They're going to be going for that tree end. And it looks like that Treant actually goes over to 2 Sweaty. I don't know if we lost Denominator or if he just muted himself. But we seem to have Ludicity actually backing up here as a group. And another Treant is actually picked up, thankfully, that mid Treant. But Max Green doing what he can to actually just annoy Ludicity. And they're going to go ahead and do a little bit of damage, but he steals away that back Treant camp. Really well done by him, denying them the farm that they're trying to achieve with him there in the middle of their jungle in the back camps. And that gives so much time to Dienzio and T-Tigers to be able to get some good farm for themselves and hit their level 2 power spikes. Look at that.
Sorry about that there, Sean. A little bit of a coughing spree there, but as you mentioned, Max Green, so aggressive on this Grace, was able to take away the back Treant as well as one of the doubles, and then almost killed 2 Sweaty as well, forced him all the way back to base to heal up. Just wasting a little bit more time. The Black Feather wasn't able to, make an aggressive rotation into the lane or try to invade the jungle. So definitely great plays coming out of Max Green there. Dienzio taking an edge very, very early here. Knight is going to be forced out of the lane here very quickly as Dienzio picks up a kill. First blood to T-Tigers, second kill to Dienzio. Dienzio already sitting a level up over Knight. Knight only sitting at 3 CS to his name. Dienzio approaching 20. And also forcing Knight to miss some of the CS here in the lane. And that's going to be absolutely great for a Ringo. Again, we talked about the range advantage and the range buff he just got. And he's taking every bit of his aggression and focusing it early on. And it's going to make it very difficult for Knight to scale up in this game.
That's it. The kid gloves are off. Tribe is taking this game seriously now. They're almost about, well, they were about 2,000 gold in the lead, but we do have that gap being closed a little bit by Ludicity. They pushed up that wave pretty well to be able to get a little bit of chip damage on that turret, and we do see Ludicity rotating down, going after that Treant. But T-Tigers, he's going to have something to say about that.
And he definitely is. He's not quite able to steal it. Hakura is going to go ahead and pick that one up. Now, Max Green and Dienzio also rotating down. Can they steal away that farm? A Dank Shank comes through out of T-Tigers. They're going to find it. Here comes the suppressing fire. 2 Sweaty. I believe you are dead, sir. Oh, a great on point. Paired up with the healing flask is going to keep him alive a little longer. I don't know how much it's going to matter. Grace, definitely very, very quick. Oh, that second attack coming out of Max Green, not quite enough. Dienzio now down here looking for another kill. Dankshank coming out of T-Tiger is going to find one. Knight, pop that healing flask. I think he's going to make it out alive, but at the cost of Dienzio, full health, full energy, going to force another wave underneath the turret. Probably going to get some decent damage down on the turret as well. Might even find a kill onto 2 Sweaty, who is just running away, survived on a sliver of health. Dienzio and Max Green, they don't know where he's at, but it doesn't matter. The Treant gonna go ahead and kill him. He did get the CS, but at the cost of your life, it did go over to Max Green. Now Dienzio 5-3 here in the lane. Look at the damage coming out of this Ringo. Knight just returned from recalling the base and shopping, already forced back to his own base again to heal up, and Dienzio 34-9 in the lane right now.
The spell sword already, that's a sub 4-minute spell sword for Dienzio. Mark it down, Denominate, because he's just doing so much work. He's going to be able to throw out his abilities so quickly, and that's what we need coming out of Dienzio here. And they're diving in.
Yeah, they definitely are. They find one turret. They don't quite find a kill, but I mean, we already talked about the Vox suffering in range to this Ringo. Now he doesn't have the safety of that first turret to fall back on. We almost have a kill onto T-Tigers. It's not quite enough. Akura might die here. That's 1 kill. Now 2 Sweaty. He's onto T-Tigers. Can he find the kill? It doesn't look like a Dankshank going to help provide some distance. Hellfire Brew going to take out Knight. 2 Sweaty taken down by Dienzio. That's another a 7-0. And with the back of that one, Tribe, they're going to go ahead and take that tier 2 turret. might even rotate down through the jungle and look for some farm now that T-Tigers is pretty much full health again. Well, is full health again.
I feel like the SEMC devs designed the Spell Sword and gave it the buff specifically to give Ringo some love indirectly. But Knight, that last team fight, man, he practically had his toe on the healing platform and he went down due to the burn coming out of the Hellfire Brew. It was a really comical thing. But I'll tell you what's not comical. It's actually no laughing matter here, Denominate. 7-0 right now. 6 minutes into the game here. Game 3, Tribe versus Ludicity. And we have about a 5,500 gold lead for Tribe. It's oh my goodness, look at that damage.
I think Knight realizes he's pretty much done. Dienzio, Spell Sword, Tyrant's Monocle, has a minion's foot in his pocket. Just all that crit. Knight just completed a poison shiv for his only offensive item. It's definitely not looking good here.
Denominate, we went from a contest to a trolling to an all-out stomping right now from Tribe. They're just going in, continuing to aggress. Are they going to close this game out sub 10 minutes?
They have the potential to. Dienzio has such an enormous lead right now. There's nothing this Vox can do to actually try to punish him. Even Too Sweaty. I mean, he just died for going in. Those crits coming out of Ringo absolutely shredding through the health of 2 sub-level 6 carries. The Arden is level 6, while Vox and Blackfeather were both level 5. Blackfeather, as he was dead, just ticked over to level 6. I don't know if it really matters, as Dienzio just absolutely steamrolling through this game right now.
It's an amazing thing. He's got 85 farm right now to 26 for Knight. And Knight's only sitting on one tier 3 weapon item right now. Dienzio, he's got that lucky strike there, and he's going to be able to pick up another Tyrant's Monocle, I feel. This very well could be closed out in the next minute and a half to 2 minutes. Denominate, and geez, man, 8,000 gold in the lead right now. All 5 turrets still up for Tribe. Ludicity, they've really got to turtle up here, but it's going to be a very difficult situation because they're going to have to rely on probably their backs. They're not going to go beyond that.
It's a pretty difficult thing anytime you need to actually come back when the enemy laner has more farm than your entire team. Typically, the build we see on Ringo's is the Spell Sword, double Monocle going into a Bonesaw. I don't know if the game's going to last that long, but if it does, I think Dienzio might just go into a Tornado Trigger for that last item and just look to keep the crits up. I don't know if we're quite going to make it that far, as this wave now pushing up underneath the turret. If Dienzio would quit playing with his food, they could take the turrets and end the game. But T-Tigers takes a couple turret shots there. Here comes the Hellfire Brew. Going to be on to Knight, but he's in the safety of his healing platform, so he's not really going to take anything off of that. They're going to go ahead and just try to farm up some minions here, do anything they can to try to get some items online. Knight still struggling to get his second tier 3, which appears to be going towards a breaking point right now. And Dienzio is going to be looking to find more kills. Gauntlet is out. Dienzio's on the chase. There's another kill for Dienzio. Almost able to pick up Too Sweaty. Can he pick up a Kuros? He's going to, even off the back of the healing flask, or the Fountain of Renewal there. It was actually T-Tigers picking that one up. And they're going to go ahead and force these turrets down. I don't think there's anything that Ludicity can do to stop the pain train that is Tribe right now. They're going to be on the Vein Crystal. That should be game 3 going over to Tribe, unless if a miracle happens, right, Sean? Like, this is over.
This is completely over, Denominate. Tribe just drank their medicine water, smoked the peace pipe after that last game, and now they're like, you know what? We're just going to go ahead and give them the pain train. The vein shatters. Tribe Dienzio on this 8-0, actually a perfect game. What am I talking about, Denominate? For Tribe, closing it out sub 10 minutes here on VISPRO versus Ludicity. Really impressive play.
Yeah, and just to touch on the numbers a little bit here, Dienzio sitting up at the end of that game, sub 10 minute game. We're just under 10 minutes. 121 CS. the entire team of Ludicity was able to pull together 87. We talked about at the beginning just how strong Ringo is this patch, thanks to some buffs on some of these weapon power items that were maybe lacking a little bit in these past couple updates. Now, Ringo, he's back. He's stronger than ever. And when you're up against Vox, who takes some time to scale up, it's incredibly easy to use that additional range that Ringo just got. You know, we have seen him fall out of the meta quite a little bit, but that, you know, a buff to his range, buff to some of these items makes him a very potent threat when dueling in the lane early on. But, you know, to help us get ready for the second set of matches that we have for you guys tonight, we're going to jump over with Dragonborn. You know, maybe we can hear a couple things from him, and, you know, Sean, you know, clearly feel free to chime in if you have anything else you'd like to say. But Dragonborn, that was an just absolutely intense game coming out of Tribe there, proving that they definitely deserve to be.
Well, they got Ringo on Dienzio, which is really what I think they should have probably prioritized all series. Once they got that, you could see it just wasn't even a contest. Ringo being in such a good spot right now this update, and Dienzio being such a good Ringo is a deadly combination. With that, guys, that concludes our first series of the night. 3 series down here so far, the round of 16. We're going to be getting ready for our 4th series here of the night in just a little bit. So stay tuned, guys. Coming up next, it is going to be Infinity Rebirth going up against the 4 seed from Mars, formerly known as Team Hazard, but back with a name change for the team as From Mars. They will be joining the Vainglory 8 ranks here momentarily coming up in the next season. So definitely excited to see these guys in action again right after this break.
Ben, Sam, and Ken are on separate journeys to defeat the menacing Vile Dragon. But let's just say luck isn't on their side. If only there was a way for them to find each other and band together. Well, that's why there's Band. It's a mobile app that allows people to come together using common interests. With Band, you can find fellow gamers, chat, schedule gaming sessions, and conduct polls. Stage epic battles with friends while sharing videos and photos along the way. So try Band today. Band. Be together.
Welcome back, everybody. We are here live at the VIS studio getting ready for our second series of the day. And I really should say of the night because it is getting pretty late here. But I'm excited for this one, guys. This is going to be, I think a fairly potentially close one, depending on how well From Mars shows up. We'll talk a little bit about these rosters and teams, but let's get right into it because we're ready for the draft, ladies and gentlemen. And it is going to be From Mars versus Infinity Rebirth, and don't let the seeding fool you. As we saw just recently, these games could go either way. It's really been a lot of new, changes for compositions for a lot of these teams. I'm really excited to see how it's all going to play off. So, Denamine and Shaunastino, let's jump right into the draft.
The draft begins.
And just for clarity for everybody, From Mars is Team Hazard, the one of the teams that ended up going on to the VG8. They've changed their name back to From Mars, so just wanted to make sure everybody does know who this team is, as we have a Vox first ban coming out of the side of From Mars.
Yeah, Vox, as we know, he's pretty strong right now in the lane. He's virtually untouched, and with the Serpent Mask changes, he's going to be even stronger, so that's why we want to have him off the board. Varia, of course, off the board too. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see her on the fold, at least this game. And Blackfeather, first pickup there on A side.
Blackfeather first pick. The Ringo is available, who can... he has kind of some interesting trade-offs with the Blackfeather. He's very good at aggressing the Blackfeather early, but as the game goes on and Blackfeather's able to get in and out of combat and get an Atlas Pauldron down onto that Ringo, Blackfeather definitely can potentially pick up an edge there in the later stages of the game. We have a Arden now coming through for the first pick on the B side. Now we're getting lined up for the second set of bans. We could potentially see the Ringo banned out here. What do you think, Sean?
I would hope that the Ringo gets banned out, actually, because Infinity Rebirth is... I don't think they want to give both Blackfeather and Ringo two very strong picks to From Mars. I was going to say Team Hazard again. But looks like they're going into the bonus time here. I like that we did see Arden picked up. However, there's Churnwalker ban, actually. So the Arden, even though he got a bit of a nerf because he doesn't have that double gauntlet available to him anymore, he's still a pretty strong captain here. So we're going to be seeing a jungler or a carry picked up. It's anybody's guess who's going to be picked up next on Infinity Rebirth. But the ban's going over to From Mars right now, and yes, thank you. And they're going into their bonus time a little bit too. I would expect to see a captain picked up here on their second round of picks. What about you, Denamine?
Well, I guarantee we're going to see a captain on the second round of picks. I'm more interested to see what they ban away here. With the Arden already picked up, I definitely don't expect to see a captain banned away in this slot. So they're probably going to target something if they know what the comfortable hero pool is out of the enemies. There's definitely a possibility to ban something away like the Taka, who we've seen had quite a bit of force. You could ban away that Ringo. They are going to go with the Rona, and Rona does do very well into Blackfeather. So I think that it is a smart ban away there. However, I do think there's other very, very strong picks still left on the table. Again, that Taka, we've seen teams just get annihilated by a Taka. He's very good in the early game for securing his own CS, as well as once you get to that mid game and the X-Retsu's online, he can absolutely blow up a team.
Yeah, he definitely can. And if he overdrives his A ability to, zero use on his energy for his chitons, which could make him very effective at dodging out a lot of attacks and doing some pretty good damage, getting those good combos in, and of course, Kaku awaying so that he can keep himself safe. And we do have Cruel actually picked up. Cruel's pretty strong in the jungle right now, especially with two things: that Serpent Mask, the Serpent Mask buff that we got, as well as the Shiver Steel buff that we got that completely changed the way it builds, and it gives it 25% additional attack speed once it's picked up.
Yeah, so definitely a lot of options that can be done here. As you mentioned, we're going to get a captain. Which one? I think the Grace is very, very good into the Krull. That Holy Nova is very punishing for what a Krull needs to do. The Sky is now available on the A side for From Mars. I do think this provides a bit of flexibility. I think into the Krull, I do like the Crystal Sky as opposed to the Crystal Blackfeather. But depending on how the rest of the draft goes, they definitely can switch things around. They can pull out the Weapon Sky Crystal Blackfeather if they need to. And it may just may come down to what this last pick is. I'm sure they have an intent on where they want to run it, but it looks like they might be struggling with their captain pick here. They go with a Lance, who is also very good into Krull, as well as can be very good into Arden as well, canceling out or repositioning those gauntlets.
Yeah, he could reposition those gauntlets with the Githian walls, or even stun up Arden into any surrounding walls and make it so he can't even do his wall at all, his gauntlet at all while he's channeling it. Cruel, of course, he can be peeled off with those Githian walls as well, rooted up so he can't get to the targets, the carrier or the jungler over on From Mars. So it looks like Infinity Rebirth thinking on their last pick, likely to be a carry here. And with Varia off the board, I really wish we could see a Varia tonight. But they still could pick Ringo. I would expect that to be the pick right here.
Definitely could. Time is ticking away. 10 seconds left. We should know what this last pick is. There's the Ringo. As you mentioned, and we've talked about pretty much all night, is Ringo has really come to light in this patch due to the increase to some of these weapon items, as well as the very, very slight but very, very effective range increase on Ringo's basic attacks.
You don't often get the devs to actually gift you, a gift from the gods, if you will, the range increase on a hero, and Ringo got a lot of love in 2.11 here, Denominate. So it's going to be a very tall task to have to deal with this Ringo, but if we have From Mars able to focus him down and eliminate the Ringo from the fights, that's going to be not bode very well for Infinity Rebirth.
We'll have to see how it plays out. It does look like Hello Kitty is going to go ahead and be on the Blackfeather, presumably in the lane, and Erica Kane in the jungle on the Crystal Sky. Obviously, Lane Ringo, Lane Ringo, Jungle Krull going to be coming out on the B side. I'm interested to see if they do go the double weapon power route. We do typically see that fourth item for Ringo is the Bone Saw. But I think if you're going to go double weapon, you need to build it a little bit earlier. Otherwise, that early armor that the enemy is very likely going to buy is just going to do so much work.
Yeah, so then he should go into the spell sword then first, and then after that follow it up with the Bone Saw. That way he can make the most use and best priority out of getting that. Of course, we are here on the Fold, Denominate, and we see this double weapon composition coming on, not online yet, but coming into play for Infinity Rebirth. So I'm really interested to see what's going to be happening here, and let's go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. We do confirm this Sky double crystal bit start here, so definitely looking to go into that crystal route. Can be very punishing to a Krull on the front line as she's building up those Dragon's Eye stacks, as well as obviously the Broken Myth Piercing going to help kind of get through any shielding that Krull decides to build. Can be very, very good, but she has to be careful. This Ringo, very, very buff this patch, as you coined it there, gift from the gods to Ringos this patch. Can make very, very short work of a Sky's health bar. So that's something that Erica Kane definitely going to have to watch out for. Hello Kitty going to be tasked with dealing with this Ringo and trying to get that Atlas Pauldron down as well.
What's going to make Suki so deadly, obviously, is he's got that range advantage there, but he's getting aggressed on right now.
Yeah, definitely getting aggressed on a little bit. Hello Kitty with the Book of Eulogies here in the lane, as well as the Iron Guard contract. Should be able to heal up quite a bit off of these minions, but Silent Killer and Suki, they've been doing such a great job keeping the aggression up. Hello Kitty has been forced to use his healing flask. Again, the double healing here coming out of the Book of Eulogies and that Iron Guard contract should help him clean out this wave and maybe stay healthy enough to stay here in the lane. Suki is going to get rooted up by the Impale and the Githian Wall stun, but Erica Kane, you're down here in the jungle running away from Selma. I think they should be able to collapse here on Erica Kane. Suki is going the other way. Here comes Silent Killer. Can they find the kill? One shot, two shot isn't enough. There's the Spectral Smite coming out of Selma. They pick up first blood 2.5 minutes into this game.
Do you know, running away, I guess he doesn't know he's going to die right now because he is teleporting back to base. Thank goodness for him. Took the wise route out of that fight. And Suki doing pretty well right now, pushing these waves in. That allowed them to rotate down pretty easily and collapse onto Erica Kane there, getting that kill. Selma doing some really good aggression in the enemy jungle right now. And From Mars is having a little bit of a difficult start right now. Not super rocky, but Selma is just really playing a number on Erica Kane right now in the jungle.
Now Selma, he's dropping pretty low. It did look like Erica Kane went ahead and got that treant. There's the healing flask used by this Krull. Looking for the sustain now. Can they find it? One Spectral Smite would be enough. There's a second kill going on to Selma. Gonna go ahead and recall. Knows that jungle was just cleared out. They're gonna go ahead, top off some health, pick up some items. And with the heavy prism here on Ringo, looking like we're gonna get that Crystal Ringo in the lane in those Hellfire Brews. They're going to be very, very potent onto that Sky.
This is going to be interesting. So we go into this game, Denominate, thinking that it could potentially be a double weapon power composition here. But we don't see very well. We do see actually some shielding picked up by Do You Know. So he may have figured it out. But he's going to be going towards Fountain. Actually, what am I talking about? But this is going to be a very interesting matchup here, and it's funny because that's what Spell Sword was, I feel, kind of good for, getting out those quick draws, and just doing a lot of damage that way. But him going towards perhaps, I don't know, maybe an alternating current here, it's going to be very interesting.
Selma on the run from the side of From Mars, but it's Hello Kitty up here in the lane, continuing to get pressured by Suki. And it is going to be Erica Kane, dropped very low as well, forced to recall back to base to heal up. All members of Mars are pretty hurt right now. Here comes Selma, but a good Githian wall coming out of Do You Know is able to hold him back. Hello Kitty has to be so cautious here, and there's going to be a lot of aggression that comes down on this turret. In fact, they might just go ahead and take it. 5 minutes in the game. It's going to be Infinity Rebirth looking for that first objective. They're going to go ahead and get it. And that's going to give them a little bit of a gold lead now, sitting about just that turret above, but that's still 600 from the team above that they've got going for him. Eric Kane getting some damage down, not going to be a massive threat right now, especially since Krull has just picked up that healing treant there.
Yeah, he did, and he's actually approaching level 6 coming up pretty soon. That's going to be a good power spike for Selma. Him being able to throw out those from Hell's Hearts. Ooh, Silent Killer going low.
Yeah, Silent Killer is going to get dropped, and Hello Kitty takes a couple turret shots there. It's going to be damaged, but, definitely find themselves a little bit of gold to answer back. Almost even things up off of that one. Going to be Hello Kitty going ahead, recalling, has that Serpent's Mask Veil, has the Heavy Steel getting ready to go. Selma looking to possibly build into that Sorrow Blade first item, it would appear in Suki. Gone ahead, alternating current first on the Ringo, so not going for the Glass Cannon Hellfire Brew just annihilates your face build. Is going to be looking to do some additional damage on every other basic attack. And when paired up with the Twirling Silver Crystal bonus, that can be a lot of damage very, very quickly.
Yeah, it definitely could be Denominated. We also see an energy battery on him. He's got that heavy prism there as well, so he's going to do even more damage. That energy battery, great for that energy management that he could very well have. Silent Killer's going low, but he's backing off, and it looks like Suki is now the target.
And Suki is going to pay for it with his life. 2-2 now, as From Mars even things up. Can they get the aggression that they need, though? Krull and Arden, not very good at clearing out the minions for the turret, but Selma might be looking to get a kill onto Erica Kane here. Can he do it? There's another Spectral Smite. Third kill going over to Selma. 3 assists to Silent Killer. Only 1 on Suki right now, but that is going to keep the aggression off the turret. In fact, Selma, with the help of the Fountain of Renewal from Silent Killer, is looking to be in a healthy spot coming through here. Here comes the Hellfire Brew onto Hello Kitty. Rose offensive 1 second before it was available, but the Healing Flask was ready to go. It's going to keep him full health, but it's a lot of damage down onto that Lance, and now with the health bars the way they are, Infinity Rebirth, they have a pretty sizable advantage here. They could look to start up this gold mine and possibly just bait out a fight. Selma, half health, but definitely capable as a Krull to go back into a fight.
Yeah, very, very capable. 3-0-0 right now he's sitting on for his KDA. And Erica Kane has actually gotten killed all 3 of those times. It's interesting to see Infinity Rebirth, lower seeded team, going up against this Vainglory 8 team, just a new addition to the Vainglory 8 from Mars. And they're just not doing as hot as we would expect them to right now. They have lost a turret. And Infinity Rebirth, they did get eliminated from the group brackets last time they were in VIS. Looks like Selma's going in.
Yeah, definitely is. Can he find what he needs? The aggression has been forced back by Erica Kane. That forward barrage now that the Dragon's Eye is complete, it's definitely scary, especially with the minimal amount of shield that Selma has been able to purchase. He's gone with the Sorrow Blade first item. Pretty expensive item for a Krull coming out of the jungle. He's upgraded to the tier 2 boots. That's going to give him that additional cooldown on that proc, help him get in and out of the fights as he needs to do so. As Suki, I'm interested to see what his second item he ends up going for here. Obviously, the alternating current. Usually after that, we'll either see a Dragon's Eye or a Shatter Glass coming out of a Ringo. With the energy battery to help him maintain, I don't know if that's going to be the second item, as now Suki, he's being attacked. Hello Kitty and Do You Know are on him. That's going to be a kill going over there. But Hello Kitty taking a lot of turret aggro there. The fountain was actually used, so that's going to be down for a while. And Selma trying to find a kill onto Erica Kane. Rooted up and stunned in the forward barrage, though. That's going to be a 4th kill now going over to From Mars. Hello Kitty up here in the lane, trying to get some damage and some healing off of Silent Killer if possible, as well as trying to get this wave forced up so they can hopefully take the first turret down. Not sure if they're going to be able to do it with Ringo returning. Instead, going to rotate down through the jungle, clear out some vision. Hello Kitty, have you bit off a little more than you can chew? Oh no, here comes the Hellfire Brew. Will be enough. Good timing there out of the Rose offensive is going to prevent that burn from coming through. And following it up, a beautiful Githian wall out of the Lance, stunning the gauntlet that Arden was getting ready to lay down, which very likely would have killed Hello Kitty.
That's exactly what we were talking about, Denominate, during the draft. Those Githian walls, just while Silent Killer is channeling those gauntlets, it's able to stun him up, so he's got to be careful about how to use them to stun.
Yeah, here we go. This fight is continuing. Nobody wanting to let up here. Both teams fairly comfortable points in their build. We've got some infusions across the board as well. Suki has just picked up a crystal infusion for himself. We've got about a quarter of an infusion left for Hello Kitty, so don't think he's going to get too much off of that. Do You Know, LOL, was able to get out over the wall there, had to pop the fountain for himself, but he has survived. Pretty important to make note of here. Selma might potentially look to set up an ambush. The on point just misses, so doesn't give confirmation that they're in that bush. But Selma starting up the gold miner, trying to force anything they can right now. They know that fountain is down. Here comes From Mars. Dragon's Eye starting to stack up. The death from above is coming through. They've got the kill onto Ringo. Can they follow through and get one onto Selma as well? Sky dancing around this fight. Forward barrage, and the Faint of Heart going to go ahead and finish off that kill. That's 2 more for the side of From Mars. Can they pick up the ace? They've got 5 seconds to do so. No problem for Hello Kitty. Another Faint of Heart execute coming through. They're going to take the Crystal Sentry. They're going to start up the gold mine, and that might just be the snowball that side of From Mars needed to get things going.
You know, the story of the last 2 days is that we have seen Ringo virtually 100% picked or banned here on VIS Pro. However, this off-meta build that we're seeing with the Crystal Ringo coming in, especially when we already know that the buffs to Serpent's Mask and his range make him so effective when he's doing auto attacks, because he has to rely on his twirling silver to be able to dish out the damage. This Crystal Ringo needs to stay in the fight longer, because not only does he have that, he has his Dragon's Eye, which it's forcing him to maintain his stacks. Of course, the stacks do fall off a little bit better, you could say. They don't fall off as quickly. However, he's just such an easy target prioritization from Hello Kitty and Erica Kane, and even Do You Know Why? To be able to lock him down with impales and just focus down Suki very, very easily. I feel like this has actually turned around pretty well and starting to edge towards From Mars being able to just inch up and get the kills that they need, get the gold that they need, and they have 4,000 gold in the lead right now, Denomine.
Yeah, they definitely do. Again, they're really starting to pick up the pace here. They've been able to find these past couple fights fairly convincingly, specifically when we get the Ringo stunned up and a Suri strike lands right on his face. We have Eric Kane now rotating up over here into the lane. They might be looking to force the wave up here. They have a double minion wave coming in. They might be able to get some damage down on the turret. The forward barrage finds a couple hits there on Suki. Wave is actually getting taken down fairly quickly by the Crystal Ringo again. The alternating current paired with the basic increase out of the Twirling Silver can be absolutely massive on the Crystal Ringo, but here's the Gauntlet. Selma is stacking up. A good Atlas Pauldron going to slow him down, though. Actually lands on all three members of Infinity Rebirth. Here comes the Hellfire Brew. It's going to be blocked out. That's going to be the Crucible down. Fountain is available, though. There it comes out a little bit late. We are going to lose out on the Lance, and Selma is going to make it out alive. Little misplay coming out of the side of From Mars there, but we might be able to see Blackfeather make it out alive. In fact, Sky is going to take away some CS2. Oh, Silent Killer had to watch the tail end of that recall as well. Sean, what does Infinity Rebirth have to do here to try to get back into this game? This Sky is getting more and more threatening.
Well, I feel like Suki was actually doing a pretty good job of actually maintaining his distance in that last fight. He didn't get really stunned up at all or repositioned, and that allowed him to continue to have damage output during that fight. Again, I feel like it's really not as much as a weapon power Ringo would have. I would have really rather have seen a weapon power Ringo with the Bone Saw after he gets a spell sword, just like what we were talking about in the beginning of the game. Do You Know Why has done such a good job. Look at the assists. He's got 6 assists on him, only 1 death. He's been able to survive so well in these fights and do really good support with the Githian walls, with his impales, to be able to lock up Suki and Selma very, very well. But I feel like Suki has just got to build up, and he already actually has his 3 CP items there. So as long as he's able to stay alive in these fights with that Broken Myth that he's just picked up in the last minute or so, he's going to be able to dish out the damage. We have to see Infinity Rebirth really just not give any more.
Man, is it really giving more? I mean, it's a lot of these fights have looked like Mars taking. Just no questions asked, just right up in the face of Infinity Rebirth. They've started up this Kraken now, and Suki's playing a bit far forward. He has to be cautious. If he does get hit by that Impale or a Githian wall, it's very likely going to be the end of his life. Might see the Hellfire Brew come out pretty soon here. He's pretty far out of combat. If he can get some vision, might be a good opportunity. Atlas Pauldron going to land on all 3 members again. Here comes the Gauntlet. Selma is getting dropped very low. All the meanwhile, Hello Kitty finding the kill onto Ringo. 1, 2, 3, lining them up. From Mars, they're going to go ahead, take this Kraken. Their Ace Wave minions might even be able to push down a turret. It looks like Hello Kitty is going to go help them along. Sentry is down another life there. And From Mars, they are looking way in control of this game.
The little green men from Mars have proven that they deserve to be in their position in the Vainglory 8. The target prioritization from Mars was just so good. Stunning up Suki with that gauntlet while right on the edge of it too. He ran into it. He didn't have a block available. He got taken out. And then shortly afterwards, Selma fell. Silent Killer as well. And that was the ace. Now Kraken is on the leash for From Mars. We have a green alien Kraken marching down the lane.
Green Alien Kraken. Sean Ostino coming up with all sorts of crazy things. What do you call the Kraken other than Kraken, right? Like I guess it's like an alien. So
Helga.
Helga, or Leroy if we go way back.
Yeah, so here she comes. Suki, really 1 and 4 right now on this Ringo. They've got to be able to make a stand here. If they're not able to take this, they could From Mars could very well take this in one push. And here we go.
Yeah, it's another triple Atlas Pauldron coming down on the side of Infinity Rebirth. They've been unable to block any of those Atlases so far. Selma is already down. Suki, that forward barrage chunks away your health bar. They did lose YLOL, but I think Mars have done it. This should pretty much be the end of the game. 20-second death timer on Selma, 28-second death timer on Suki. Kraken, that's sitting at 75% health. Both carries alive. That should be the end, right? Like that's just From Mars closing this one out. Nothing at all that the side of Infinity Rebirth can do. So that's going to be 1 point up. What does the side of Infinity Rebirth need to plan for coming into the second draft? What can they do a little bit better in their rotations that they might be able to pull an edge over From Mars?
I really don't feel like it's so much of a rotation game right now, Denominate. Just looking at this game, looking at Suki right here, seeing this off-meta composition itemization that he's actually gotten. We know that Weapon Power Ringo is so strong right now. Why not just go Spell Sword, followed it up with a Bone Saw to be able to shred armor if we have a double weapon composition? I think that would have been the better call. Of course, I'm not the pro player. These guys are the pro players here. But if you look at Hello Kitty over there on From Mars, really well played by him. He's got 0 deaths on him, 9 kills. Full built on him. He was just a powerhouse here who we dove onto the back line, just did so much work and was able to annihilate Suki and not allow any kind of damage output coming out of this Ringo.
I definitely agree with you. I think I would have liked to see the double weapon power composition, but to get us ready for draft for game number 2 between From Mars and Infinity Rebirth, we're going to be heading over to the desk with Dragon. Potentially the last game of the night, potentially could be sent to a game 3. What are your expectations, Dragonborn?
Well, I just want to go down on the record at saying I really wanted to see a double weapon in that case. I thought that, honestly, we've seen double weapon work in the past, and it's usually when you've got a strength in the jungle that can take advantage of it, and you've got a laner who's just absolutely powerful with double weapon, and that would be Ringo. Ringo with the Bone Saw. You could build another person in the jungle with Bone Saw, and I really am surprised. I think Infinity Rebirth wanted to play the cruel weapon, but I think that really, yeah, and they got the Ringo last pick too, which I think is unique here. I really would have picked that Ringo second and then just tried to get a bursty Aftershock proc hero in the jungle instead. Hey, it's over with there, but you know, that's something I think we got to miss out on. I really would have loved to seen it. It's been a long time since we've seen double weapon be extremely effective in the fold. And you know what? After, you know, seeing how Ringo has been played and when he's played weapon, how effective he is, I'd love to see that maybe happen. We're going to be getting ready for that next match, though, as you guys said. It's game number 2 here between Team Hazards and Infinity Rebirth. Infinity Rebirth.
From Mars.
Oh, sorry, from Mars. From Mars. Not Hazard. It's in Hazard. It's Hazard in game 2, which threw me off for a second. You know, I was actually pretty impressed with Infinity Rebirth. You know, early game, actually when Ringo had those the weapon blade, or I think it was the weapon blade early. You know, they actually were winning the early game, and you know they have the mechanical skill to do some work against From Mars. Erica Kane on Sky is pretty well known, and Sky, now that they buffed how Dragon's Eye works, you know, just not really buff the power, but buff the fact that, you know, it takes longer to stack up, but it takes longer to cool down those stacks. And that's been a big deal for Sky, because Sky wants to put a few stacks, move around, reposition, then put a few more stacks. And you saw Erica Kane on that Crystal Sky doing exactly that. It really was a thing of beauty. Just took a little bit longer to get turned on there. So as we get ready for game number 2, Denominate, anything that stuck out to you specifically that you maybe are hoping to see changed up a little bit here in game number 2?
I just don't want to see any more Crystal Ringo, to be 100% honest with you. With the health changes specifically, the Crystal Hellfire Brew just isn't as impactful as it once was. It does still scale off your crystal power. It doesn't make up the difference for the 800 health that a lot of these heroes have had increased just off their natural health pool. So it's kind of a risky pick. If you can get ahead early, I can see it working. But against a team like From Mars, definitely an incredibly risky pick. And I think that's really the biggest thing that was their downfall in game one. I think the weapon Ringo incredibly strong right now. Even if you pair it up with a Krull, you just may have to commit into some of that armor breaker a little bit early on.
All right, well, we're going to be getting ready for draft. Small little note, I don't know if we mentioned it. Did we mention it? Do you know why LOL? That is actually Nice's shot. Again, another issue with name changes. He's saying that he wants to change it back right away. So I guess not Smurfs necessarily, just name changes from a lot of these players. He was formerly Do You Know Why LOL. Actually, that was before he was Nice's shot. A little fun fact there for people who might be interested to follow Team Hazard as they start to make their way, of course, again, qualifying for Vainglory 8. But without further ado, guys, we are ready for draft for game number 2 with From Mars up 1 game. Let's jump right into it, ladies and gentlemen.
I personally miss Nice's shot. I really love the game that Dragonborn and I actually casted, where we realized what the name was. But anyway, we do have a Black Feather off the board right now, and we have the ban waiting on side B right now for From Mars. They take Varia off the board, and if this is the last game tonight, Denominate, we're not going to be seeing Varia on the fold tonight. Looks like we're waiting on the last, or the first pick rather, on Infinity Rebirth. What would you expect them to be picking up here, Denominate? Probably a Ringo?
I think there's grounds for the Ringo. I think there's grounds for the Vox. You also think a Churnwalker being on the board is very potential too, but they go with the Arden. And while Arden, we talked about it a little bit earlier, we're not going to see the double gauntlets the way we once did. He's still a captain that works well with essentially every hero in the game. He's no longer really that hyper playmaker that he once was, at least in my opinion. So we'll have to see if that ends up working out for them. Again, the Churnwalker was on the table. We've seen the plays that a Churnwalker is able to put together. So now that's available for the side of From Mars if they decide to go that route. The Rona is picked up, though.
Yeah, the Rona's picked up, and of course with Serpent's Mask, that she's gotten essentially a buff, even though she got a little bit of a nerf on her cooldowns for her abilities. So she's still going to be able to just steal a lot of life with her damage output as well, and keep herself very sustainable, very healthy. And a Vox is off the board now. So looking over at the other side, we have Infinity Rebirth waiting to ban right now, taking their time, banning that Taka. So they may be wanting to see if we could potentially see a Ringo actually picked up here on the other side. That would be great, actually. Again, we're double weapon power. Why not? We could have Rona go into the jungle. We could have Ringo up in the lane. That would be very interesting to see From Mars actually pick that up. But we do see a Sky picked
Statements
up.
made.
They want to do it again. They want to have Erica Kane down in the jungle again, stacking up those Dragon Eye stacks potentially. It looks like it's going to be a CP Sky in the jungle here, and we have potentially could be a Ringo picked up, but let's hope that they don't go down the CP route this time.
Yeah, we'll have to see what ends up coming out. So no captain picked up for the side of From Mars. So we know what both carries are going to be, and we only have the captain on the side of Infinity Rebirth. So now they can essentially sit here and pick exactly what they want. What 2 carries do they need to get here to actually counter the Rona in the Sky? The Taka, they banned the Taka away from themselves. So I think that kind of gave From Mars that safety net where they were able to pick both carries in a row, because Taka is really one of the best counters to Sky just due to his ability to get onto the target and stick onto the target. Even if she 30 strikes away, if you save your abilities properly, you can definitely get right back to her and keep up the pain. But they're going to go with a Glaive.
Yeah, Infinity Rebirth it just kind of drafted themselves into a corner, I feel, because even though I want the Ringo to come out, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the best pick right now. The Ringo can easily be jumped upon by the Rona. She can go ahead and use her into the fray. We can have a Suri Strike come out of the sky as well to just reposition so well, dance around, stop the Ringo from backing out of a fight if he wants to maintain his distance. So it's a really difficult thing here. And the Glaive, he could be in the jungle, he could be in the lane. I would think it's more likely going to be a lane. A lane. Oh well. Oh my goodness, we have a saw picked up. So this is another flexible pick. It could be double weapon power. Could be a C. I would hope it's going to be a CP saw in the jungle, and Glaive in weapon power in the lane. Denominate.
I really don't want to see a CP saw in the jungle against a Sky. If they actually get into a fight, once the saw uses that suppressing fire, he's not going to have a whole lot of damage for that roadie run to actually be useful. Sky is so mobile and easy to get out of that suppressing fire and then lay a forward barrage right into his face with that target lock. I do definitely hope this is a Glaive weapon in the jungle and a crystal saw in the lane. Or maybe even double weapon power. It's kind of hard to say. I generally just don't like saw into Sky, and Rona is very easy to get onto the saw as well. So kind of a rough pick in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I think they just. I feel like there weren't a lot of choices actually for Infinity Rebirth, and now we have the captain picked up very easily. Grace, the best captain right now on the fold. She's going to have a lot of damage reduction coming out from helping to block the damage that's coming out of Saw. And Rona, if she's diving in there, same thing with Sky. If she's diving in with her Suri Strikes or she's maintaining her distance and kiting away, she could easily be healed up with the divine interventions. And if we get an Echo picked up pretty soon, I would hope that it gets picked up probably third item, maybe even second if they want to keep it early. Then they could do double divine interventions on these carries. So from Mars, looks like a pretty strong draft for them.
Yeah, definitely does. That Grace, absolutely amazing at supporting and reducing the damage coming out of the saw, especially if he goes crystal power. We saw in the Lorelei spotlight, obviously that water wall against the saw's roadie run. The Grace functions in a very similar way. It's not complete damage negation like the water wall is, but it does mitigate that damage by 50% and then backs it up with that powerful heal. So that's, kind of a similar sense. If you can see where that roadie run's coming in, you can really basically negate all of that damage.
Yeah, the benediction too is going to play a pretty good factor here. As long as Grace is diving in and just getting that directional holy shield on whoever they're attacking, whichever one of the carries it is, then that's going to be very important. And it's up to 40% damage reduction now from 30. And the Holy Novas too, if they can stun up Saw with those Holy Novas, or if Selma gets in there too close and a Holy Nova comes on, then you're going to have potentially two carries from the side of Infinity Rebirth stunned up. And not to mention Silent Killer, he could be stunned up while he's channeling his gauntlet as well. If, it's not the easiest thing to do, but if you have a Nisa shot, hitting those Holy Novas and being really accurate with them, then we could see a lot of good plays coming out of him. And he's doing a little bit of a juggle invade there.
Yeah, looking to do so. I don't think he's actually going to commit to it too much. He is starting off the bottoms, but that's not really a whole lot to lose out on. So I don't think Infinity Rebirth is going to really care too much about that. They didn't lose out on that Elder Treant, which is a huge fight advantage just based on the healing that it actually provides. So not a terrible start either way. Selma, he does have 2 weapon blades here on the Glaive, level 2. Suki does appear to be going to the lane on the Saw. He has the Book of Eulogies. We very likely could see a double weapon composition come out here. But Grace and Rona, very good at diving onto the Saw, very good at applying that Atlas Pauldron. So it's definitely risky to run the weapon Saw. We need to see some good reflex blocks coming out, and maybe even an additional Crucible maybe coming out of Glaive just to try to help, because Saw is realistically going to be the hyper carry in this scenario, as Selma able to go ahead and actually secure his farm in that 2v1 there.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you with the Saw. It's a really difficult thing, but I feel like he would be more mobile as the CP Saw in the lane. But Suki has got his work cut out for him, and Erica Kane going pretty low there.
Yeah, going a little bit low, but Glaive, with his cooldowns being so long this very early in the game, you have to really time them perfectly. That's going to be Erica Kane dropping final hit, going over to Suki for that first blood, and is going to be able to heal himself up a bit off of these minions in the lane. Obviously, that Book of Eulogy is going to help out. Selma has to use his cooldowns at the right time against Erica Kane, as well as specifically the afterburn. You need to target where you're positioning just right. You know, against a Skye, that afterburn positioning is really the most key thing you can do in this early game because of the length of the cooldown. You need to try to pin Skye up against the wall where you're able to fill in with a couple more basic attacks as well as that Twisted Stroke, and can potentially give you that additional damage that you need to try to lock things out at that point.
It's really interesting how Suki is actually, you know, he hasn't bought he's only picked up the shielding, and he's gotten that Book of Eulogy, so we still don't know if he's gonna 100% go towards weapon power or towards CP. He could just be waiting until he gets enough gold. He's sitting on 2,000 right now in his wallet, so he could. Well, he's getting actually flanked a little bit by Erica Kane there, and he's gonna back. So we'll probably see what he's gonna pick up right now.
Yeah, a little bit of a tickle there. Wasn't a whole lot. Hello Kitty obviously going to heal up in the lane with the Book of Eulogies, and the Iron Guard contract going to help out as well. Erica Kane has started up the Ancient Treant here in the middle. Will they be able to secure it, though? Selma, Silent Killer are both here. A lot of damage coming down. Erica Kane is able to secure it. Forward Barrage helps force Infinity Rebirth back, and that's just overall a win for the side of From Mars there. Was able to take that Treant with a basic attack from Crystal Skye right under the nose of Glaive, who still only sitting on 2 weapon blades, doesn't have a massive amount of damage right now. It looks like he's going for the Spell Sword first, but is going to need to complete that to help him with his energy management and his cooldown.
Yeah, once he goes for the Spell Sword, that's going to be a lot better for him. It of course did get that buff. You know, it's up to 100. I believe it's 110 right now for the weapon power on that. But yeah, that's an important part of his kit. He needs to be able to do these afterburns. It's one of the most signature things we have here in Vainglory. This rocket-powered axe. Oh, but whoa, Hello Kitty!
Up in the lane, Hello Kitty gonna drop. That's gonna be Suki picking up a second kill for himself. You know, LOL. We need to call him YLOL. So yes, I'm messing up here. Selma taking a bit of damage. Erica Kane coming up into the lane. Level 6, Death from Above is available. That's a very, very useful tool against a Saw. Even though it's going the crystal route, if you can target that Death from Above right when that suppressing fire starts, Saw is, I mean, even if he blocks the stun, that's a long period of time that he's just going to be sitting there taking that constant barrage of crystal damage. With the Dragon's Eye complete from Erica Kane, that is a lot of scaling damage that the Skye is able to provide.
Yeah, I really like what you pointed out there, Denominate. So if he's sitting there with his suppressing fire, he's immobile while that is happening. The only way he can get out of it is perhaps by doing the roadie run to be able to get out, cancel it. But yeah, if he's getting hit by the Death from Above, we could have Erica Kane repositioned very easily with a Suri Strike to get out of the way, to get on the other side of Suki. And that could spell his demise. However, you know, it is still considered a little bit early game, edging towards mid right now. And Suki is sitting on 2 kills at the moment. So if he's left alone to do damage, he's going to do it.
Yeah, Hello Kitty here in the lane. Has finished the Serpent's Mask on this Rona. Does have a lot of sustain, but has to be very careful. The damage that can come out of this Saw, especially with the Dragon's Eye getting stacked up, those roadie runs can be incredibly potent. So before the Aegis is complete, this is where Hello Kitty has to be the most cautious. As Erica Kane now in the lane, they're looking to force this wave up. Crystal Saw does not have the best wave clear. Silent Killer, oh man, Fountain used just at the right time, going to save his life. Potentially save the turret off that too. Selma approaching level 7, Erica Kane halfway to level 8. So definitely a advantage there for the jungler. This engagement's not done, though. Here comes the Holy Nova. This turret's down to about half. They find the kill onto Suki. Silent Killer is going to get dropped as well. That's 2 going over to Rona. It'll be a beautiful afterburn coming out of Selma, returning Grace underneath the turret there. 570 damage. But first turret ends up going over. Oh, Erica Kane, can you find this kill? Afterburn comes up in 1 second. Going to be able to make the escape. Surrey Strike over the wall. The Afterburn Strike is going to go ahead and help that one out. Crystal Sentry gonna find the kill onto Erica Kane. They trade 1 for 1 there down in the jungle as Hello Kitty does steal away some, or tries to steal away some CS there. Looking for more. Gonna pick up the back. So it is going to be a net gain going over to Hello Kitty. Maybe even able to escape with the Into the Fray coming up here in just 2 seconds.
I'm telling you, Denominate, those VIS treants coming in really handy tonight. Holy Nova lands onto, and nice shot. Going to be able to back off there. We have a breaking point picked up by Hello Kitty, and that's really great because it's another good power spike for him. It's going to allow him to just stack up a lot of weapon power damage once he gets into these fights. We have a rotation down from Infinity Rebirth. And the game is still pretty... Well, it's not even in gold right now, actually. We do see almost a 3,000 gold difference for the side of From Mars. And things are looking pretty good for them right now, despite them being down by 1 kill.
Yeah, they're down by 1 kill, but they are up an objective. And, Selma, he does have the Spell Sword complete. There is some additional cooldown, as well as the weapon power buff that I got in this last patch. Erica Kane's edging a little bit ahead in experience, though, is level 8, has chosen to overdrive the Surrey Strike first. I like this against the Glaive, just due to Glaive's gap closer, especially with the additional cooldown that it has. So this is going to allow Erica Kane to reposition more in the fights, make it safer to build up that Dragon's Eye, as well as make it a little bit more difficult for Glaive to finish off those kills. So this is going to rely a lot on the combination of Glaive's upfront burst coming through with a strong roadie run out of this Crystal Saw. And it is kind of hard to set up against a target that's so mobile and also has the protection of this Grace.
It's very interesting to see Selma on this Glaive, because he not only does he have the damage capability.
Oh, Rona is in there on to Suki. He's actually had to force out of the fight a little bit here. Hello Kitty's dropping pretty low here. Will they be able to get the kill? Roadie run not available for 1 more second. Selma should be able to make it out here. Silent Killer, will his fate be the same? He's going to go ahead and Vanguard over, but forward barrage coming through. Erica Kane picks up kill number 5. Might even be looking for more. Gonna use that Surrey Strike to get over, but forward barrage was not on target. Can they find the kill? Erica Kane, you are... what just... that was
Surrey Strike.
Just crazy perfect timing. Saw was like 1 step away from that roadie run landing. I can't believe Erica made it out. YLL is going to drop. So it is 5-6 now. 4,000 gold lead formed for From Mars, as they are, getting to the stage in the game where the death time is getting a little bit longer. If either one of these teams loses out on this next fight, it will likely be a turret one way or the other. But I'm leaning on the edge towards From Mars now that the Eve of Harvest complete for Erica Kane, going to give some additional sustainability in both the health and energy fields, as well as has picked up a block as well. Selma struggling to get the second item online. Looks like it may be a second Spell Sword, looking for just the pure cooldown, as well as that 110 weapon power is definitely useful as well.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting at a few minutes ago, Denominate, is that having double Spell Sword is actually pretty dang good on Glaive. And here we go for another fight.
Yeah, it looks like it is getting ready to break out, but I don't think Infinity Rebirth really want any part of it. Even with Hello Kitty this low, Selma was backing off quite a bit. Erica Kane coming through, Surrey Strike into the fight, Death from Above helping zone out there. 1 Divine Intervention is used by YLOL. No Echo online for that one available yet. Very likely to come online pretty soon here. Glaive has found his way onto the target, Erica Kane, but with another Surrey Strike again, the cooldown on that ability being so low is helping get in and out of the fight. Hello Kitty is here in the lane. I think they should be able to take this turret with the saw down, but we'll have to see. Erica Kane was quite low. Gonna try to pick up this treant so she can be a little bit more healthy when she comes into the lane. Turret sitting about 75%. Can we see From Mars do this here? Glaive, afterburn through, might have been the wrong call. Fountain has been used, the healing flask has been used. Here comes the gauntlet, stuns up Hello Kitty. Might be just what they need to hold off here. Recalling in the wrong spot, though. Hello Kitty, I think you've just lost your life for sure. That's going to be a kill going over to Glaive. Selma makes it out on a sliver of health. And now Erica Kane and YLOL, they're just going to go ahead and have to hold off and try to keep their tier 1 turret alive.
Hello Kitty, bye-bye Kitty. I have to respawn at base now. But there was a lot of survivability, actually, in that last team fight by Hello Kitty. And I could say the same thing for Erica Kane. Really smartly done, going back and rotating down into the jungle to pick up those treants just to stay alive when he was actually going pretty low there. And it looks like we have Erica Kane building that piercing shard, going towards that broken myth. And it's going to be that 3rd damage item online. And things are looking pretty good right now from Mars. And Suki has got to be the one who's got to stay alive here. Suki and Selma, but they just keep going down. I feel like Selma has been the playmaker. He's got double spell sword online now, so he's able to really do a lot of engage. But we have this gold miner being picked up by Mars, and will it be contested?
It's definitely looking like it. It is going to go over to Rona. That red mist chunking away some damage at that health bar. And Afterburn going to punt Hello Kitty back, and oh no, YLOL, you came a little bit too close. And be punished with that roadie run. And the lower you are on health, the more damage that ability is going to do. Delma came over looking to try to find Erica Kane and was greeted with a forward barrage to the face. Maybe not quite the Afterburn he was looking for. They do have a life advantage right now as YLOL is just now coming back onto the fold. But Suki looking for some of that farm here in the lane, trying to finish off his 3rd tier 3 item so that he can try to be that hyper carry for the side of Infinity Rebirth.
Yeah, this is an interesting pickup here. Atlas Pauldron is actually just online for Hello Kitty. So he's going to be able to get in there and slow down that attack speed coming out of both Suki and Selma. However, this isn't a weapon power saw here. This is a CP saw. So they've got to really watch out for those roadie runs. And they've just got to be really careful with his abilities.
It still does help out against the Glaive, as well as if Saw has that Mad Cannon procced, definitely can prevent him from getting some of those attacks out. So it has a little bit of viability into the Crystal Saw, maybe not the most, because obviously we know that roadie run coming through is just that huge spike of damage, as we have From Mars down here in the jungle. Crystal Sentry eliminated. Got a lot of damage coming down onto this Saw. Attack slow onto all targets. That's going to be a kill onto Saw. They're looking for Silent Killer. Hello Kitty should be able to get that one. Selma, he has the Afterburn ready to go. There's no target lock from Erica Kane, so no pursue yet. Will we see it, though? Taking a couple turret shots, though, puts her down to about half health. They're looking to just turn their attention onto this turret. Afterburn from Selma. Might buy a second, but not a whole lot. Got a couple seconds here on the Afterburn now. It's actually been his demise. 15 minutes into the game, staggered death timers now from Mars. They can look to pick up this choke point turret, maybe look to go right onto the Kraken after that and force out a fight. It's a roadie run onto YLOL, gonna bring him down a little bit. Can he make it out alive? Got a couple seconds left on this other roadie run. Think YLOL is dead. I actually would have liked to see him hold that benediction. It looked like Hello Kitty was trying to pull those minions over to the wall for him to jump, but used the benediction in the wrong direction. Ended up giving up a life.
Echo is now online for a nice shot. It's going to allow him to get off those double divine interventions now. But Selma throwing a little bit of a poke in. Oh, he's going low.
Yeah, he definitely is, and that's going to be a kill going over to Erica Kane. They can look to turn the aggression up now, though. This Saw alone will not be able to deal with the full health Erica Kane. Silent Killer knows he's dead to rights. Just going to go ahead and give that one up. 2 deaths on the board now for the side of Infinity Rebirth. They have to be cautious here. If they give up an ace, this could be the end of their run. Roadie run going to help get him back into a little bit of safety. Hello Kitty. think you need to just start playing it back a little bit here. Glaive's coming on the board. Suki has you dropped low. Rody Run's available. Here comes Glaive. Afterburn is going to get blocked. Hello Kitty, will you make it out? There's the Rody Run. It does do a bit of damage, but a beautiful Suri Strike coming from Erica Kane over the wall. Going to get a big burst of damage landing onto Glaive and the Saw. Hello Kitty able to finish that kill off. Another good reposition coming out of Erica Kane there to get her out of safety. Now Saw down for 20 seconds. I think they have a good opportunity to go ahead and start up this Kraken. They'd definitely be able to force a fight. Erica Kane probably going to go ahead and get this Treant here, top off on some health. Hello Kitty doesn't need it quite as much. And Sean, I think from Mars, they're just looking to close out with one push here. Only 2 turrets between them and a victory.
I have to agree with you, Denominate, and those were some amazing blocks coming out of Erica Kane and Hello Kitty when we had Selma go in for those afterburns, trying to punt them and reposition them. There was no way they were having it. They just turned on their Aegises, and they blocked those suckers really, really good. But and that one got blocked too, but it got repositioned.
Definitely did. There is a little bit of a contest over this Kraken. The gauntlet is down. Suki has used the suppressing fire. Rody Run available is going to go ahead and take out YLOL. Can they finish out the fight, though? Suki is down. Erica Kane sitting here at 10, 11 stacks, 12 stacks of the Dragon's Eye, as well as that level 12 infusion. They were looking for that final kill, weren't able to find it. Selma with the afterburn over the wall. Hello Kitty definitely more than capable of tanking the Kraken with the health that they're at now. That red mist will give the fortified health and help with that tankiness. That's what it looks like they're going to do.
Denominated, did you notice the pattern here? We have Erica Kane with tons of crystal power damage, just whittling down the health bars from Infinity Rebirth, and they've got to be really careful here because Selma is in that bush. But anyway, there is not that much shielding on Suki or Selma. They're just eating these forward barrages, and that's what's allowing Hello Kitty to just come in there with those foe splitters and finish them off.
Yeah, that's a Kraken going over to the side of From Mars now. YLOL back on the fold. Suki ready to go as well. So all members are alive. Only 2 turrets stand between From Mars and advancing in the VISPRO series. First turret still up for From Mars. So they are definitely in a healthy position. Even if they don't close the game out here, they have pretty much everything underneath their belt that they need to do so thereafter. Selma struggling to get that last tier 3 online. It looks like maybe going towards the breaking point or a bone saw. Only time will tell. Kraken full health marching down the lane. Death from above is out. Selma has taken a little bit of damage. Erica Kane building up some stacks here as much as possible, at least taking quite a bit of damage from that Mad Cannon, though. Needs to get a forward barrage down. A Divine Intervention coming through. A Gauntlet Stun does land onto the sky twice. Hello Kitty receiving that second Divine Intervention as well. That Echo complete, as now YLOL, you got to be careful. That Rody Run is up in a couple seconds. Hello Kitty, doesn't matter. They're going to come in. They're going to find 1 kill. They're going to find 2 kills. And now Silent Killer, nothing he can do by himself. That's going to be From Mars closing this one out. Series 2-0 victory over the side of Infinity Rebirth.
From Mars launching that rocket into the next series, further into VISPRO. Really well played by them. Hello Kitty doing the work here. 13-2 on this weapon power Rona. Just amazing plays, really well facilitated by Erica Kane. So much crystal damage coming out of this CP Sky. It was just insane. We didn't see shielding really on the side of Infinity Rebirth, and they really paid for it. They got punished so hard. They ate those forward barrages like it was a really hearty breakfast, but they got split, like cracked like eggs really by Hello Kitty.
Absolutely, but to help us close out tonight and maybe give us a little bit of insight of what matchups we're going to have for you guys next time on VISPRO, we're going to be jumping over to the desk with Dragonborn for the last time tonight.
Thank you, Denominate. Thank you, guys. What an incredible series. It really was pretty one-sided. From Mars, formerly Team Hazards, did an incredible job here, coming in for their first week here in round 16 and cleaning things up nicely. So they'll be moving on to the next round, and we do want to talk a little bit about the rest of the week's schedule. So let's quickly just take a look here. As we see, it is going to be moving on to day number 2, and starting off tomorrow, Nova versus the Comedians. But that actually needs to be updated because it is no longer the Comedians. It is now Celsior Esports. Right before the tournament started, we did have a team drop out, and we had a backup team waiting to take their place right after these graphics have been made. Following that up, it'll be Jimmy Fan Club versus Echo Fox. That one actually going to be a very exciting, probably very close matchup, guys, because Jimmy Fan Club is filled with incredible talent and are actually very highly going to give Echo Fox a run for their money. Echo Fox is going to have to show up pretty big for that one. And then, of course, rounding out the week on Friday, Vision Gaming, another team, just like from Mars, who made it into the Vainglory 8 off of an incredible performance during challenge battles. They will be making it into the VISPRO lineup here starting on Friday against Y-Fighters. So you can see there, rounding out the week, I mean, Kardashians versus Team Ferox. Another exciting matchup. So tons happening, guys. Again, we're in the round of 16. This is really, kind of the make or break for a lot of these teams. They want to make it to week number 2 when the quarterfinals and semifinals will be taking place. So make sure you guys tune in for all the action for the rest of the week, as we'll be bringing you guys more games for this entire tournament. Until then, though, good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you guys tomorrow.
Ben, Sam, and Ken are on separate journeys to defeat the menacing Vile Dragon. But let's just say luck isn't on their side. If only there was a way for them to find each other and band together. Well, that's why there's Band. It's a mobile app that allows people to come together using common interests. With Band, you can find fellow gamers, chat, schedule gaming sessions, and conduct polls. Stage epic battles with friends while sharing videos and photos along the way. So try Band today. Band. Be together.